back to the VCT Game Changers APAC Series Open 3 Series number 2. For today, we've had to hop in a game, but not before we take a closer look at the two teams that will be battling for that top 4 finish. Scythe, NWJ, and Orangutan X. Zach, how are you feeling about this matchup?
Personally, I'm just a little bit of a fangirl. I don't know if people have noticed it before of Orangutan. Okay, I'm a huge fangirl, okay? You gotta be honest about them. I really like that team. I think that they're one of the most resilient examples of what can really happen in Valorant. Of course, last year during overtime, I think all of us still remember that Ascent game where they made that comeback from 1-11 to win in overtime. It still haunts, well, I'm sure it haunts everybody who was an Orangutan fans at this point. So really, really good game coming out of them. But in general, they have been one of the most dynamic teams that I've seen. I love the concept that they have for their roster, players from like 4 different countries coming together, and they've only improved it since last Open because they didn't go through that roster shuffle that we were talking about. And in particular, I have been very impressed with how Emmy has been stepping up to the plate. Kind of that new signing you see, a bit of love from that land down under Australia talent stepping in big and stepping in huge.
Yeah, and like Orangutan Extra, we used to love them. Well, we still love them, but we used to love them in the past because they used to be known as the comeback team, just always able to clutch things out when it counted in OT, even if it did toy with all of our hearts and just give us that heart attack every single freaking game that we watched them. And then we had a couple of, we're gonna take a look at Scythe right now with a quick switcheroo. Scythe NWJ on your screens, Crescent, Yamori, Marche, Orphelia, as well as Sky Elise. Orphelia and Yamori, I think, are going to be the big names that we want to look out for and highlight for this series going forward. Of course, this 5-woman roster has been playing together for a really long time, been kind of trying to crack the top 4 consistently. They did do it back in Open 1, but then very disappointingly, Open 2 had that 7th to 8th place finish. Were the first team to get knocked out last month. Last year as well, they did play in overtime and then LCQ, where they also ended 7th to 8th and eventually did not make it into Elite. So a lot of history, a lot of expectations, I think, going to be on their shoulders this time around because they definitely don't want to have that repeat of Open 2's performance or that repeat of 2022 happening again this time.
For sure. And again, like you mentioned, this is a team that's been around since the beginning of Game Changers. In particular, this particular tournament, I've been very impressed by Marche's performance. Orphelia, of course, coming in from that alter ego roster, joined Orangutan last year, now on site, and really able to put up those numbers. But talking about Orangutan, of course, we talked a little bit about their new players, Emmy and Aruma. Emmy, in particular, on that duelist role, looking very impressive. But we also do have to highlight 2 of these players on these team who have been around since the very beginning, Casper and Japeeps. Just the most dependable duo. And usually, you know, like you talked about in that previous game, you expect the combination to be kind of like a duelist and an initiator most of the time, but it's gonna be Smokes and the initiator. Casper, of course, on that Astra, one of my favorite players to watch, and Japeeps with that utility, especially Silva on Ascent. She's one of the best players that I've seen bring it down. And to top this all off, they have Twirly now. Anybody who watched VCT Game Changers last year was a fan of this team, of Red Vectors for sure, and Twirly was a key factor in that 6-woman roster.
Yeah, and not just as an individual. I think day 1 was when we were seeing this absolutely insane martial plays from Twirly, just shooting from the hip, but somehow with that 100% accuracy as well, just straight down B long on Pearl. And whew, boy, I mean, OGX, both of these teams, you know, OGX ended their qualifiers 5-1. They 2-0'd all of their wins. Their only loss was versus Team SMG that they did get 0-2. You know, just SMG things. But then for Scythe NWJ, interestingly enough, this is going to be the revenge match for them versus Orangutan X because they also ended qualifiers 5-1, but then lost 0-2 to OGX. I think it was a 13-3. It was a 3-13 on Pearl, and then they got 9-13 on Fracture. So they did drop that best of 3 series 0-2 as well, and that was on the 23rd. So it was just 5 days ago during this qualifier stage, and I don't know how much they've managed to change up in the last 5 days, but looking at the map picks though, lucky for them, it's not going to be Pearl or Fracture at least until map number 3.
I really like how they just banned the Pearl.
Yeah, they're like, no.
They want nothing to do with that. We're taking this out of the pool here. Also, the Lotus ban makes sense because it's for all of Scythe's strengths. They're a team that has a little bit of a less deep map pool than Orangutan, in my opinion, anyway, especially with their new agents. So they've gone for some stuff that's been more comfortable to them. Sure, the Pearl didn't exactly go their way the last time they played, but if it does come to the decider, they still have some stuff to learn off of and do it. But map number 1, right? Vine, that's going to be the pick coming out of OG, and we saw how incredible they looked on that particular map over the course of this particular tournament. Vine, a map that, with the changes coming in, makes rotations a little bit more easy. Orangutan, they are more than ready to take full advantage of that kind of situation.
Yep, I absolutely agree. I mean, if history taught anything, then I think OGX have that slight little advantage going into today. I mean, you know, from playoffs to now, I'm really just not all that sure if Scythe can really try and crack their way into the top 4. I know it's definitely one of the things that they've been trying to do, right, is to make it to that top 4 consistently, whereas Orangutan X, I think for them, it's pretty much the top 3 slots that they're aiming for, right? Open 1, they came in 2nd place. Open 2, they came in 3rd. I think anything less than that is probably going to be a bit of a disappointment for them. You know, we had our doubts, right, when they had all those roster shuffles before Open 2, but then they came back and they still made it to that 3rd place. So they have settled in, I think, quite comfortably with this roster, and also settled in quite comfortably to these agent compositions. It looks like it's just going to be familiarity and comfort across the board for both these teams.
Very much so, and honestly, seeing the size that these teams are starting out on, it makes perfect sense. Orangutan, of course, on attack, they have that double duelist combination. Emmy on that Jet, we saw her plays, I think it was just yesterday, so very, very incredible player to watch out for. But Swirly in particular, I love how she is on this race. Really manages to play off of Japanese utility well, incredible at space taking, and overall, Orangutan, they just have really, really good playstyle when it comes to utility. For the side of Scythe, of course, starting off on this defense, having that Viper Astra stage combination, it's a lot of stalling power. The only front where I say they're a little bit less accomplished on than Orangutan is kind of being able to find that early information. We have seen them improve on that drastically over the course of this Open, but with that extremely defensive team comp they're running, right, they're gonna have to be careful to not let Orangutan take up too much space for free. They're gonna have to fight for every inch, and if they can do that successfully, they might be able to kind of steal this map away.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of the strengths. I think both of these teams actually playing to their strengths, right? Because you've got the Sage over on the defensive side right there, and that's the side that they are starting out on. And then you've also got the Jet coming into play. And I think that for Orangutan X, right, you try to enter and say, you see the stage wall, and you're like, okay, we're just noping the frick out of here. We're going to rotate. And it also plays to OGX's strengths, right? Because they're a team that is very good at playing as 5. They're very good at going for those rotations as well on the map. So I don't know. I think both these teams really playing to their strengths here. If we had to choose, I know we haven't done predictions the whole day just yet, Zach, but if we had to name a number, what's it gonna be? 2-0, 2-1? Which way? How we feeling?
I would say 2-0, but in overtime.
Oh wow. Really? Not even a 2-1? I was not expecting that.
It could be. No, it could be.
That.
It could be a 2-1. I just think that on a sense, it could go either way. That's why I said overtime. I think that we have a likely possibility of overtime on that Ascent map. But I don't know, Orangutan, especially after watching them yesterday, I just think that they're looking incredibly strong. They finally found that synergy over the course of these last few days. And if Emmy and Turley can keep putting up that show that they've been doing since yesterday, it might be what they need to like really push forward and come to that top 3 or top 4 finish that we were talking about.
Alright guys, well, you heard it here first, but here to find out if our predictions will come true or not. Dax in black and blue, guys, back to you.
Bold statements from our panel. They're already trying to figure out the lay of the land. But my friend, this matchup, familiar faces, familiar matchup. Both teams are going to Elite, but both teams are also gunning for redemption here in Open 3. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Dax and Black and Blue still together here for you. And Orangutan X versus Scythe. If you look at their history, my friend, this has been an Orangutan X matchup through and blue all throughout the year, even under Big Scythe, even under Scythe NWJ. It's been Orangutan X getting win after win after win against it.
Well, Orangutan X, they're the team that has already kind of established themselves as one of the best to look out for. When on the flip side, when you do look at, Scythe here, they're the ones who are trying to put themselves in that conversation the same way Orangutan have already done throughout their performances here. We know that they've come together as a team with many different backgrounds, many different former teams, to all culminate as one super team to make it happen. Could not complete it during the last Open. They came very close. But this is another shot at that redemption. So we go in a bind to start things off here. And for Orangutan to pick this, you have to know they got something up their sleeves.
Yeah, exactly right. I've been wondering why would Orangutan X go for bind a map where NWJ have beaten them before, I believe back in Open 2. But you mentioned it. There's already that confidence with the front line between Emmy and Twirly. Emmy given time to acclimate to this roster here in Open 3. Things looking so much more sound, and especially in their win versus Anomaly. No charms. There's a lot of confidence right now for Orangutan X. I do wonder though, them banning Haven, one of their better maps in their map pool, in their deep map pool even, will it hurt? Especially given that this is a lower bracket matchup. The wall is up though from Sky Elise, and as we do get the Rumatron chip on away, it's already kills from Sky Elise and Oriophila ready for the shower take, 2 down on the other side of the map.
That's great support and help here coming from Oriophila. Not to let at least be alone in that bout. Marche good for the one. Twirly shut down, and OGX, every plan they're looking to try and attempt here, just going and being decimated at every attempt.
Yeah, and Scythe's happy to play bind. They haven't lost a bind map pick in the open circuit this year, and they're just so confident with this Sage and Astra setup. So many ways to go for the stall. Oriophila having an incredible day versus SMG, especially on Haven yesterday. The OGX, you look at Casper, she also stepped up to the plate in their last matchup. Chance right now to find that kill, and Sky Elise is the first target. Second even, that's what Casper's all about. The friendly ghost though has been felled, and Oriophila will answer back. A pistol 1 here by the defense.
Well, the way to start things off here, if you're a Scythe, it's a good path. It's a good start to being on the right path, rather, of trying to finally exact revenge against this Orangutan squad who have been playing no games. And for sure, with the way that, you know, OGX have picked this, it's something that we keep on coming back to, because Scythe 1-0 in the past split here, in the past open versus Kizuna. Not the same could be said for a bit of a shaky map for OGX. They don't change up their agent composition, so you have to wonder what else will differ here on the table.
Well, the map did change a little bit, and again, having Emmy now more so in that lineup with, of course, the departure of Chloe, then it really goes to show OGX is all in with this get raise situation. But Emmy has to deal with the Trailblazer, Snakebite's there too, and the double controller of NWJ still very much so applying a lot of pressure. They even take shower right now. Casper has to retreat and take back her stars. OGX trying to cut noise and regroup towards Hookah instead.
With Casper trying to be the sole phantom here towards the A side, just making sure that she can keep him haunted. You're gonna look her way, keep the defense there. Dash on in towards the B site. It's towards really the garden that they're putting importance into holding here, but just the firepower, okay, not working out as much as I thought it would.
Yeah, not too shabby here from the side of OGX, right? They get the kills that they need. They pick up a few guns along the way. Spectres in hand. And Yamori can have difficulty here to actually bridge that gap with the Bucky. Instead, we look at Sky Elise and Oriophila. What can they do from the Hookah? Already the Octagon taken here by OGX, trying to play from B-Long instead. Japips waiting for that flash to come on back, but Oriophila takes matters in their own hands. Sky Elise is there too. And yet again, the tandem system working for NWJ to clear out these angles.
I'm surprised that it wasn't actually Yamori who they had send up further up with a shotgun, because imagine if Sky Elise and Yamori went down. She'd have to have a fight at long range with that shotty. Especially since I don't think she was able to pick something else up, but I mean, for the meantime, they hold on to the rounds that they need to against the eco there. OGX finding a few of their own, but not enough. Vandals, rifles out of bound now for OGX.
I have to say, honestly, we're seeing from Oriophila so much confidence here in this open 3 run. She's found her form, especially on this roster. We were seeing her try to at least find even more leadership there in open 1, open 2, but as of right now, Scythe, prepared as a unit, stuck together despite losing the big brand behind them. And OGX instead, they go for the short push, rifles at the ready. Yamori still, Bucky in hand, watching out for the lamps. Oriophila is prepared also for this wall to drop on down, but Twirly faster on the trigger finger. Another shot, another spray down. That Boombots do clash too. Battle bots on the inside, but Emmy has another plan. Up top the APC, get a bit of intel. Trailblazers there too. And OGX looking for the close quarter clear. They find Crescents now. It's all OGX so far, taking a partition of the site. They have to be careful though. Sky Elise is towards showers. Angel's there. Yamori making noise with Bucky and Martian. Sky Elise fight on back. Sky Elise, we said it before and we'll say it again. A threat from the showers now looming here for OGX. A struggle for Casper and Twirly as they look to find any kind of safe haven. Maybe a retreat, a teleport to B site might be the answer.
30 seconds left.
Wow, incredible stuff for Elise. The sky's the limit. And she's looking like a complete hazard right now, not just a threat here for OGX. We got 2 rifles still, but so do NWJ, who have picked up the last remaining ones on the opposing side. 3v2. Advantage in every sort of sense of the word, in every sort of way, but they don't have information gathering tools left remaining. Cooldown off the guiding light, and this can allow Casper to have a really cheeky position here. Twirly opens up.
And here comes Casper now, and maybe forever. Sky Elise with 3, but the timing! Casper avoiding the flash a while ago while she was in elbow. Marching on the defuse, and NWJ, can they stick this? No, it's gonna be a swing and the hit from Casper instead. You can rely on this gal to come out with these incredible situations and get those dubs. There you go, OGX with 1.
Well done here. Coming in from him. The way that they were able to, as well, kind of
Last player standing.
turn around the round that really shouldn't have been theirs on the bonus. It's impressive. They aren't able to necessarily win it, yes, but ultimately enough. Doesn't matter. They've done damage. They've gotten themselves a bit more economy to play up with. They farmed a bit of ults. They got that res online, and more importantly for Sky Elise. And that can continue to keep him soaring.
Yeah, this is perfect for NWJ. They have the rifles now, and they can go for a trade if ever, and just resurrect whoever plays that first contact. A chance here for Scythe to take advantage yet again. But OGX, they have something else in their toolbox, their black and blue. Casper's ready with the Astra ult. Cosmic Divide can be used to just silence the intentions of the offense.
Well, for the meantime here, that Cosmic Divide could be what really buys them the space they need, because they've been struggling to really secure that space against this NWJ defense. I've been hounding at them. Look at how open Oreophilia is here, though. Luckily enough, she's able to back off as the brunt of the push looks to maybe walk its way into B.
Slowly but surely moving towards B-Long instead. But already, Marcha at the ready. Jiggling to find a bit of that intel. Gets tagged for her troubles, but she has the Seekers and the utility to hold them off if ever. Sky Elise, same kind of situation. Slow orbs right now, perfect for a map like this. It's so difficult to wade through, especially on how narrow these entryways are. And Casper is the target instead. Twirly though finding Marche. Oreophilia on the other side preventing the lurk. So instead Twirly has to force the issue. Showstopper now, letting it fly. And Sky Elise will be denied. It's 3v3 as we get OGX on site.
Great job here to equalize.
Spike planted.
Oreophilia almost had the angle as well. They got the Cosmic Divide. But you can see that OGX know that. They realize that, so they're going to play within the site. They do not want to give up the site itself, because then they could be isolated by that ult.
Flash is there, Yamori into cover, but here comes Scythe, moving towards elbow. Oreophilia on the board yet again. And this is trouble unless Twirly can actually get those kills. 3 already down. Twirly still fighting alongside Japeeps. The double up though, courtesy of NWJ. 3 for Oreophilia as well. The tap is there. Isolated fight, but Crescents is there to get the catch. 3-1 now as Scythe get it again.
Unfortunate there for Twirly, because after that third kill she found, she got the nade back, but because she was still unaware of where exactly in the moment NWJ were, the last 2 remaining members, she threw that nade towards that CT, towards that defensive-sided spawn entrance, just to try and buy them some space. But little did she know, both of the last remaining players here, Crescents as well as Oreophilia, were coming from elbow already. And if she otherwise was able to hold on to that, she could have denied and made sure she didn't have to swing on the defuse, because that's really what pulled her out of position. Hearing the tap, knowing one could stick and the other could cover, and that's why she became a bit too hasty on the swing. So OGX, they had the right idea though to play within the site, but it didn't even come down to Oreophilia having ult.
No, exactly. As we're in the tech boss, right? If you look at that last round, so many opportunistic angles for NWJ. It started with Sky Elise watching the hook and surprising Casper. And then from that point on, you mentioned it, Oriphilia, as well as Sky Elise, or rather Crescents, getting in position, just doubling up to get those kills. And really, NWJ looking so prime and ready for Orangutan X. It's such a good sign here for Scythe because they've been losing versus Orangutan all throughout the year. In all honesty, I feel like this is the matchup Scythe is the most prepared for, given their history versus Orangutan X. And now that we get Bind as the Orangutan X map pick, it's the best situation that Scythe can work with, that they're accustomed to this map pick by the opposition. They move into Ascent later on, where they've had many clutch situations work out in their favor. And from what we've seen so far at the start, it's a comfy situation for Scythe.
Well, as of the moment, comfortability is not something we could necessarily say for
Why,
OGX
you don't have a
right
blanket?
now.
You don't have a pillow?
No, for OGX.
I thought
Stop
you weren't.
mucking with my point, Dax.
Okay. They did pick this map, though. I'm gonna already answer you immediately. They're the ones who picked this map. They're the ones who chose to ban Haven to begin with. And as of right now, I think the problem for Orangutan X is they just don't expect the possibilities of stalls and opportunities from Scythe compared to perhaps any other opponent they've had so far.
I mean, Scythe, we know they used to be called Big Scythe.
Yeah, now there's Scythe NWJ.
Funnily enough, some of the maps here, they got some small sites. And it's going to be very difficult to win, I think, in Ascent, when the sites are kind of small.
Please stop. You've been like this all day. What is going on? What happened to you?
Oh no, it's an illness. It's overcome me.
It's overcome you. The influence is creeping, but OGX, their influence isn't going to be as strong as they'd like because they're only on the pistol so far. They picked up the orb though. Emmy ready with the blades. Do or die. It's up to Emmy to bring that destiny for OGX with Marcha denying Twirly already on the entry. Emmy in there though, looking for the catch. There we have the blades. If Marcha still survives, Sky Elise is there too. And Scythe yet again, reaping what they sow. They're at the ready, and they just come to collect. Fourth one now.
Fortunately for Emmy there, the dance just did not work out. Fingerworks not connecting. OGX, as of the moment, coming into this round, we still haven't seen much creativity that we were expecting. It didn't come in the form of the deck they bring to the table, right? Not any change, if anything, in the composition of what they choose to play here on Bind. So you'd expect that they have something else in store, and you have to wonder what was the idea. You look at Scythe on Bind, at least as of very recent, they've only played it once, but we've seen them on the Big Side squad that it's not necessarily a shabby map for them.
Yeah, to
And
win.
OGX, what's the plan here? There has to be some underlying idea. Is it something they haven't pulled out yet? Is it an execute we haven't really seen them try? Or is it something they're really more prepared for on the defensive side?
I mean, studying some of the games from Orangutan X. Wow, that's studying, right? I feel like with the double duelist and the double control, the plan is pretty sound. You make so much space with Emmy and Twirly. You make the right sidelands courtesy of Aruma and Casper, and from that point on, you win those fights. But what does Scythe always have? They have the Sage. They have the Astra. And the stall potential is just bothering the flow of OGX. They're clogging the stream that OGX wants to run through, and it's been the biggest success point right now for Scythe, especially that they're on the defense to begin this map.
They also have the Scythe being on the defensive side.
Yes, please stop.
And they also have the last bout here on Bind the last time around, 13-7, the upper quarters. So OGX historically not favoring them, but this fight does. Emmy, they got the pincer in March shape. Presence fighting for her life, but I don't think it's going to be for long as they're taken down.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't swing that even earlier. And at the very least, Crescent gets one before she's found out and taken down. But this is exactly what OGX wants to do. Get that space and go for those pinch plays. It's 3v4, Sky Elise leading the charge. Difficult kill for the Resurrection. Those bodies are so far on away. And add one to that tally. Twirly with the find. Yamori fights on back. Pain chills down to dislodge the opposition. Gives a chance for Yamori to play even deeper into elbow and move towards the side. Oriphilia also looking for timing right now. now. There's a little hookah being taken here by Aruma. A chance perhaps to play with the smokes if ever. The Cloudburst though isn't enough to keep Emmy alive. 2v2. There's the pull from Casper. She's inside the smoke, waiting for the moment. The blast back, keeping her at bay. There's the tap right now, and Yamori holding it down. Can Yamori get away with it? Half defuse, finds the timing. Oreophilia twisting expectations and dunking on the opposition. This is Scythe to take, and she had 0.07. Time was off the essence, but NWJ still gets it done.
700th of a second there. Barely. Just scraped by with a round. It came so close. Defuse being stuck. They're very fortunate none of those spams are connecting though to try and stop the spike. They didn't have utility left, I believe. Yeah, no more pulls, no snake bites especially to keep him off the spike. Otherwise, it could have been very difficult. She just got back on the defuse in the nick of time, and she had to trust that Oreophilia would keep her safe, and that she was right in.
I mean, Oreophilia, you know the history of this lady. Alter Ego Celeste from back then, and just an incredible player on the side roster. A dash and go from Emmy, looking to provide the entry. Twirly also second in, flying high all the way towards backside, but look at Emmy go, only with the stinger. She has no fear. Casper's there too. And yes, it's an equal state here for OGX, but with a lesser buy, they cannot be denied. Cosmic Divide gonna be into play. Twirly running out of bullets versus the boom bot. But luckily for her, there's the heal potential. Showstopper though, stopping Casper dead to rights. A chance now here for NWJ. Yet again, the elbow position, a power point to work with. And here comes the Reds too. Now the advantage towards Scythe. 4v3 after the resurrection. Aruma tried to play towards the garden. She's gonna push, but there's the shot onto Yamori. Sky Elise with a quick trade. Twirly still hanging on around. Time ticking. Someone needs to defuse, but Twirly, can she find the moment? The transfer! Two with a single clip with a stinger! And now Twirly picking up Spectre along the way. Oreophilia versus Twirly, and Oreophilia will get the takedown. But is there enough time? It's gonna be close yet again.
Nope.
But Scythe, they will get it. At the nick of time, 0.65 this time! Always less than a second here, Black and Blue.
She's got so many rounds right now, back to back, where her being active in it just barely scrapes by with the closest of margins. They committed a lot to this, and the fact that Twirly kept alive there, that could have been it, that should have been it, is a real thing. They necessarily have to peek there. All she had to do was stay alive, but obviously a quick trigger from Oreophilia, who's been sharp all day. Secures the bag, secures the win, at least for that round. But OGX, they're putting up a fight. It's about closing out those fights, though, and coming out on top that's been eluding them.
Yeah, 2 rounds in a row. Absolutely clutch from Oreophilia, as well as the rest of Scythe. And here we go yet again. Another hit towards B. Another chance for Emmy. Sky Elise. This corner has been very effective for her so far to watch out for Hookah. A dash on in. A showstopper too. Sky Elise being hounded, and Swirly will just smush her there with the showstopper. Not only that, Aruma also on the lurk, finally finding the timing. OGX, they have options right now. Do they still plan for B? The Seekers though from Scythe, as they're trying to go for the pinch. That below control allows Oreophilia instead to get the angle, to get the moment. Emmy running around out in the open, but she resets, recoups, and will fire back. OGX finally get this B take to work.
Finally is a key word there. I mean, Oreophilia has been a consistent thorn in their side, but as pesky as it might be, seems to have pulled her out of the foot. OGX right now, they got that Viper's Pit to utilize later in the post plant, which we have been seeing become a problem for them. It's about holding on to the post plant that has become a continuous issue that they have yet to really rectify. They get the plant down, but it's about closing out those rounds, as we said. Finally, they do, though, after the 4-round streak of NWJ. But you look at how NWJ have been playing here. They lose 1 round, and they're already in a questionable economic state after winning 4. And it goes to it just tells you just how close these rounds have been, even if they've been closing it out.
Like how scrappy it has been right at the very end. How it always led to the clutch courtesy of Oreophilia for the side of Scythe. And perhaps this is where OGX then start ramping up their victories along the way. If they can get the kills earlier on, their weaknesses on the post plant wouldn't be as big of a problem. And you always look at Emmy and Twirly and what they can do. Twirly has done an exceptional job honestly being that second fragger. There have been times though that Scythe desyncs the two, and that's what gives the defense a chance. If Emmy and Twirly can play with the entry alongside one another, there's that bigger opportunity that they can work with and a bigger chance to get these dubs.
Get out of my way!
Chances are only really anything if they can convert those opportunities, but OGX, they've had a few windows left wide open, and yet they close it on themselves. Moving on forward, though. Yes?
They have the split. They have the split, man. What are you waiting for? The Sheriff is out too, and you can see NWJ half-buy situation. Stinger, Bulldog, Spectre, that's all they got to work with. Emmy right now looking for a target, and Sky Elise is in prime position. Emmy gets 2 already, set up by Casper, and knocked down by Emily. It's just all these dominoes falling now, as OGX are just an absolute machine on the take. They have the motions, they have the angles, and now they have the Scythe. The flash is there. It's so difficult for Scythe to even get close.
So difficult now for Scythe to take back the site. There's a problem. On March 8, she's gonna march her way up into heaven, and Emmy's just gonna be a complete problem.
Oh,
They do finally take her down, but I mean, the round is done at this point. It's only for consolation. Twirly keeping spinning around, but it's Casper who takes a soul out of him. 3-6. Finally, OGX stringing rounds together when they've looked lost earlier on. They seem to have found their way.
I mean, that was the pivot point, the round prior to the last one, right? Now that OGX has the money to work with, now that they have the guns, they can keep on with this kind of momentum, and it's Scythe who need to rally instead. Orangutan, though, if they get Casper's utility to be absolutely on point, Twirly and Emmy, they just don't disappoint with the space made. They're always happy to allow that midline to get the attention of the opposition. And then from that point on, they're in such an aggressive angle to just collapse on their opponent. Angel's there as Emmy and Twirly yet again, the dynamic duo looking to go for the push. But Crescent, a stellar punish onto Twirly, who fails to retreat in time. The teleport's there too as well. Emmy in such a bad spot. The swing comes on in, and Scythe just come to collect. That's 4 people getting involved in that single takedown. Here goes the Viper's Pit, though. So Orangutan, they get to the site and they make a safety net for themselves.
Yeah, meanwhile, the plant does get placed down here. Casper pushing forward. She knows somebody has to be rotating through that CT, but you see Sky Elise is also being aware. Oh, the timing! Looks away in the most inopportune moment. They have the advantage here. They've had great punishes a while ago, but how do they initiate?
Yeah, Chance slips through her fingers, but here we go again. Orangutan X, at least they're on site, at least they're already in a post-match scenario, and it's Scythe who needs to look for them. NWJ pushing forward. Here comes Presence, and down she falls. Spartan with a quick trade. The Viper Spit will go down, and the rest of Orangutan will follow suit. The double duelist provided the distraction, but it's still Scythe with the victory nonetheless.
At least they're able to, reel it back. OGX, they were starting to build up momentum, but you can see here Scythe do not want to let that build up too much speed, too much energy. As we've seen that OGX can definitely run it down and keep the train running like a locomotive if nobody stops in their way or diverts their path. NWJ, though, Cosmic Divide still available for Aureophilia here. She has yet to really utilize that the way we were expecting them to here, but it's OGX right now who need to find something different, find something new. Their attempts at going active have just been shut down by NWJ, who are always ready with some sort of piece of utility to throw in the plans of OGX.
Yeah, and honestly, OGX have been looking to be a bit more one-dimensional compared to their other outings on other maps. Their 2 stratagems so far, their 2 protocols, send out the double duelist, maybe go for the lurk on the other side of the map. Here we go yet again. Twirly and Emmy always together and always willing to go for the fight. The smoke drops, the wall's done. Speaking of the wall, it's already sealing showers, and that's one of the difficulties that OGX needs to face. Options are limited, and Scythe still sticking around towards the side. Stall even here from Crescent, making it even worse right now for OGX. Emmy looking for any kind of opportunity to work with, and there's the Cloudburst. If she primes that dash, it's time to go, but OGX backing away instead.
Oh, look at this, though. Look at where Aureophilia has placed herself. Difficult spot. Twirly finds her. The Seekers aiding their pursuit. And Happiness they find with the opening pick, but Emmy's down deep. She's forward. She gets one. Another here for OGX. The shutdown from Skylease. They got the res up online. The orbs as well to try and slow the pace down a bit.
But it's so difficult to find the resurrection though. And Sky Elise from the high ground yet again. Different look this time from Orangutan, giving them a bit of success. But can they capitalize for a round win? Twirly flashbacks into play. There's the flash too, and Dips and Twirly taking advantage. Sky Elise though still fighting on back. What are we seeing here from Sky Elise? The rest is there, but Casper is easy pickings as Marche is just defenseless in that situation. OGX, they take the site, they take the round.
You hate to see it. It happens to the best of us. You pop the res, and that's when they peak from where you least expect. NWJ, though, I mean, nice effort from Sky Elise, but the fact that they sent her to rotate towards the B site, it became a problem ultimately because in that case, you'd want the Rays to be one of the first ones to rotate. They had 3 on A, 2 on that B, and the reason why you leave that stage to still be on the site is that if they do pivot, if they do TP towards A in showers like that, especially now that they've changed the TP position, you want that stage to be there to throw those slow orbs and stop him from just rushing on in after the quick rotate. So small mistakes, huge implications and consequences here for NWJ.
Yeah, exactly. I mentioned it was difficult to find a resurrection, and especially how OGX plays so actively. You should honestly expect the push to come from another angle when Twirly and Japips were making so much space on the right side of the site. Well done by Casper. Well done by OGX as we're now in the last round of the first half. Orophilia only with a share, but she still has the Caustic Divide at the very least. Twirly and Emmy, paired here by Hoka, looking to make some noise, and especially that with the kill onto Marche. A chance now for OGX to move towards A while all of this is happening. Orophilia inside the showers. You have Yamori the backside as well. The silence though deafening yet again as OGX master intentions.
Well, there's a 5v4 here, Cosmic Divide. They've got one of their own for the retake. They use the attacking offensive one. Amy, good catch there. That nullifies that Cosmic Divide from being used in this round specifically.
They haven't
have the
planted yet.
advantage, but yeah, the time it's being dwindled here.
But here comes Crescent, taking advantage of the situation. Amy go with 3! And it's a whole lefty Yamori now, playing by lamps. Looking for a little light to work with. But the spike's planted, and the countdown to destruction instead initiated. 1v3 situation with 30 HP. OGX all over the place right now, but the showstopper might signal a sign here for NWJ. A good kill by Yamori. Can she go for more? Tries to clear out the corner with a showstopper. Amy still sticking around by Cubby. And Orangutan, they're setting themselves up for success. They have the angles, they have the double up, and they have the round 2.
Shot there by Casper. Being pretty dangerous though, not gonna lie. 25 seconds left, and then you're gonna try and plant, especially against an eagle like that. Things could go wrong very, very quick. Luckily for OGX though, they're able to still convert in that type of situation, even with the Cosmic Divide already not, there anymore. The fact that they were able to get the kill was big. Off the flank here from Emmy. What is even bigger are the brains and the hearts of our panel.
Aw, thanks, guys. NWJ ending that first half 7-5, winning the pistol. I think we're seeing a lot of good things coming out from this squad. With fantastic play coming out from Sky Elise in particular. Zach, you wanna tell us more?
Look, Skylease, she's been good throughout the tournament, but today I want to know what she had for breakfast or lunch or whatever time it is, because she has just been popping off. That one round in particular where she almost pulls off that 1v4, puts the res in, Casper clutches it up, yes, but really, really good positioning and awareness coming out of her in general. She's also been incredible on getting these rotates, and sometimes, like Black and Blue said, you wonder, should my stage really be the player rotating? But hey, with Skylease doing it, it was working. She was able to get those frags, and overall, I think that just the trust and the unity that has come out of Scythe over the course of this match has been very impressive. Like Orophilia in particular, that one round where she got the defuse with the, what was it, 0.007? Like James Bond numbers coming in, getting the defuse at that time. It's just really nice because she was able to trust Marche to watch out for her, and overall, the entire team, they've been able to just play together and just off of each other and set themselves up for success in that way. Orangutan, they haven't had the same level of unity throughout their game. That's what I really noticed.
What do you think OG can do in the second half? Dax mentioned that Twirly and Emmy, for example, would be a lot more impactful if they play together.
Of course, for sure. But on defense, I think that Orangutan, they could do a little bit better because they do have that double controller play coming up. They might not have the additional barrier of the stage, but with Emmy and Twirly, like you mentioned, being proactive along with their Sky, that kind of 3-person push we've seen it before from these teams, especially towards that short area. Early kind of aggression and control, that's what I would like to see from Orangutan to bring it back and retake the lead here, because I'm still betting on them.
All right, well, 7 and 5. I mean, we could be betting on either side right now. We still got a
Exactly.
lot to play for at DNB. Back over to you guys.
Look, well, for the second half, I feel like we need to put on our workout clothes because there's going to be a lot of running around this map, a lot of sprinting, and a lot of action, especially as OGX is now on the defense. Twirly and Emmy have played together for pretty much that first half, providing that entry. Maybe now, when you're playing that double duelist, right, you want to be a bit more active, and you want to remove any kind of chance for rotation. And maybe that's what Orangutan's going to do here, as we have a 7-5 standing to go again with.
The clock is still stuck.
Yeah, it's a tech pause. I already
It is.
expected. Don't
Maybe
worry
it's
about
still
it.
a halftime break, Dax.
Back to the
knows?
panel. Never mind.
Oh,
It's
there we
us
go.
again. Okay, there you
All
go.
right. But you talked about... Yeah?
What? No, I was gonna say we're ready. Don't worry.
We're ready.
Uh-huh.
I was saying you were talking about, you know, this being kind of a sprint around and running around on this map, but I think Scythe, they might take a different option here. They know that that is potentially what OGX could expect, and they might try and crawl this down to a very snail's pace that might even be uncomfortable for OGX.
Yeah, I think honestly OGX, they just have to be wary if Scythe set up some strong trap plays, honestly, while they're on the attack. If they play the defaults, if they wait instead for anyone from OGX who does overextend, that can be their chance to get an advantage early on. But here comes Scythe instead, providing presence towards B-Long. And not only that, you have that stage. You want to feed her some of those orbs to get the res online as soon as possible. Sky Elise has been strong all throughout the map, but Scythe for now having a weaker presence. They back away and look to rotate towards A.
I mean, by taking that orb, the defense will still be interested in what might be happening, but the guiding light pops towards B-Long, confirms no one's there. You can start to tell they're going to rotate now, and Emmy's, she's biding her time, biding her moment. Once she hears that spike soon to be planted, you can bet she's going to try and pop her dash, but the wall keeps him safe for the meantime. Oh,
Let's go. Frenzy clip rip, but the wall, of course, very sturdy, especially on the pistol round. Emmy now looking for opportunity. Japips alongside Twirly on the flank as well. And Scythe, they just need to be careful not to be too trapped here. Moment's notice, it's already Japips on the board. OGX looking for the fight, but right behind the veil, it's Oriophilia taking advantage. The screen goes down, and two will fall with it. Casper fighting on Bapta, but Oriophilia with the 3K. Moments made and well done by Scythe. They were just ready for it.
my goodness. NWJ here. And especially Oriophilia. She's so sharp with those shots, and will also be able to find timing. She was hiding behind the toxic screen, so they didn't know where she was, and she came and struck at the right time, completely catching OGX off guard. And that's what I was kind of wondering, you know, potentially here, with NWJ kind of slowing things down to a snail's pace where OGX might almost be uncomfortable, second doubting themselves on what's going to happen.
But look at Scythe, right? They were so prepared anyway. Even if they lost Sky Elise already, Oriophilia utilizing the double control setup that they have to provide an angle of opportunity. Just that bit of creativity here from Scythe, so effective right now. As Yamori goes for the clear crescent, though, with a takedown onto Emmy. And it seems like the encounter from Casper that goes awry instead. Casper still in lamp so far. There's the plant already. Scythe trying at the very least to get more of the backside control, but Worley fights on back. Oriophilia marching. There's the fight back here. Casper still alive and kicking. 2v2 for now. The pistols providing enough damage so far. Can they pick up some rifles along the way? Can they pick up some guns? Seems like that's exactly what Casper does. Crescents into target, but Marsha is there for the swing and the hits. NWJ survive for the anti-eco, but great damage done by OGX nonetheless.
Yeah, especially, and both of these Astras have been very sharp. Top fragging to server 70 and 16 respectively here for Oriophilia and Casper. But you talked about these pistols. They know how to play off the contact of one another. Swing when their opposition is busy dealing with any member here from OGX's defense. But that's also to, Scythe's fault, where they find themselves isolated in these fights. Should never really happen that way. Sheriffs abound here for NWJ. All they really got to fight with, aside from the Soul Bulldog saved up.
We'll see now. Maybe a bit of fight from Scythe. The Crescents can find those targets, but OGX putting themselves in a very good situation to recover after the first 2 rounds of the second half. The Trailblazers there, though. Scouts out that Fountain presence we've seen from Scythe. They love to play initial default. Wait instead for a bit of, I'd say, assessment, right, of who's staying on what side, and then they pick up that spike and rotate accordingly.
Right there.
Let's see how OGX closes round out. They can do it quickly enough and without taking too much damage, and increases their chances of coming back into a round like this. Casper still got her star placed to try and pull the plant away. Maybe burn some time. And that's actually a stun as Emmy finds that pick here on OGX's defense.
Yeah, there's so much purpose right now for OGX. When they give up a partition of the map, there's a reason why. They're watching the angles and looking to find more opportunities from that point on. The wall, really, the only saving grace there for NWJ, but Sky at least still fighting back, twirling with a trade, and now they want to go for the push towards Labs. Orophilia with the kill, yes, making it 3v3. Crescents with the Bulldog still providing a bit of range to work with, and the OGX still have to be careful. Casper now looking for the defuse. Marsha gets that takedown along the way. 2v2 for now. Rifle still at the ready. Almost lining on up, but Jafips runs out of bullets. But Twirly already with the defuse and the kill to end it. OGX, this is their round win.
They get the round 9-6 now, but not too shabby at all here for NWJ. The Scythe squad have been continuously hounding on this defensive side. Like, even that post plant, pull them in. Sheriff shots connect as they're vulnerable and open and exposed to the shot, to whatever they throw upon them, and simply create this firing line that OGX, you'd think with the better weaponry they can circumvent it, but no. NWJ always formidable, and they've got a good position here to regain some rounds.
Yeah, despite the disadvantage, they were still ready to compete. Here we have the rifles now, and NWJ looking for a bit more of that shower presence so far. Judge, though, in the hands of Emmy. She's waiting for anyone who dares cross that line. When we see it again, Scythe, they gather that initial intel by providing a lot of presence. Since they only have the single Sky to work with, right? They're not going to be able to gather intel as safely as they would like. And instead, they look for the punish potential along the way. Emmy inside the smoke. Yamori waiting to see if anyone will challenge her. But Scythe, one more time and one more go. They'll rotate towards B this time.
We got the Res, Cosmic Divide, Seekers. All the tools needed here for Big Scythe's attack to work out, but how you use those tools for the situation, that's going to be the important thing. They can hear the jump peaks coming from Aruma. Doesn't spot anything just yet. Doing a good job of mitigating what she actually can gather from those hops.
Yeah, a few jump peaks here and there. The toxic screen is up as well.
30
Orangutan
seconds left.
look to make a safety net for themselves. Sky at least throwing out the slow orb, initial utility here from NWJ, and OGX responds in kind. Twirly though, on the retreat. Time running out, the Seekers are there, but Emmy is found first and foremost. Marcha also, and the rest of Scythe follow on suit. Twirly though with a fight back, and here comes the showstopper. Struggling though to find a way in. Here comes Twirly, but down she falls. And as soon as it all settles, it's Scythe with the dub here.
It ends as quick as it starts. Really there. Pushing on up in NWJ, as I said, the fact that on the defense here, OGX just had no idea the hit was going to come from Aruma to the last possible second. It made it so much more difficult for them to be ready for that fight. And when they did push on in, you can tell, like, even with the wall, toxic screen going up, NWJ simply waited, and the rotation wasn't quick enough to aid them on the push to hold out on the anchor. And now NWJ, great position to take an 11th round here.
Yeah, they're in a good spot so far. You still have to be careful though. OGX have been consistently a threat, and especially if Casper can find those targets. Yamori flies high, and Casper will catch her as she lands. But NWJ has already gotten the entry they needed. It's 4v3, and well, they're on site and ready for any kind of possibility. Twirly coming in from CT side to courtesy of the market. But the gun disparity is so huge right now. Orophilia Looking to mark her targets if ever. Waiting for the cross to come her way. Timing perhaps the tower to provide a distraction. And that's what the paint shells are all about. Twirly lobbing utility, but Orophilia is just so ready for it anyway. A nice kill by Twirly. Aruma also fighting back. It's 2v2, a chance here for OGX perhaps. But Crescent over onto the corner, and goodbye to Aruma as well. Slow orb now, making it a snail's pace for Twirly. No escape, and no chance. 11-6 here.
They still got the res too. This is a crucial turning point for OGX. If they don't twist this around somehow, then this could be map number 1, just completely going the way of NWJ, of Scythe. Ascent is obviously something a bit more, I guess, prosperous for OGX, but this is their pick. What was the plan here? What was the idea that they had in mind? And why did they want to run this against a team they know they've lost to in the past on this specific map?
Yeah, it's the biggest question I have right now. Orangutan X, they've been very wise on their decisions. We've seen them adjust their playstyle accordingly to fit their roster right now. But I still go back to the first ban and the first pick phase. What is going on? Why Orangutan X is avoiding to play Haven? And now, them picking Bind, as you mentioned, versus Scythe, who has such a composition that can force you to turtle up, that can force you to slow down and figure out how to sync up yet again. It's just the antithesis of what OGX wants to do, and honestly right now, it's an advantage of composition and the clutch factor of Orophilia. Look at her stats right now, Black and Blue. 21 kills, 17 assists, no matter what, she's playing her hand in every single clash that can happen across the map.
Well, those fights are continuously going in NWJ's favor. You have to wonder here for OGX, like, will this operator be finally what defers them, that makes a change into what's been happening so far, that changes the current path and trajectory they're on? But currently, right now, that op is poised towards the B side, where, to be fair, most of the brunt of the defense here on A. They've got some setup to try and anchor this down, but the problem has been holding it down, even with them at the ready.
Yeah. I think for Scythe, they want to be as meticulous as possible. You notice they sprayed even from the shower walls just to clear out the closer corners. But while this happens, Crescent's on the lurk. Spotted by Japips, but neither can hit their targets truly. A bit of damage done. Japips now retreating towards B along. Emmy, the timing! She wasn't as ready as she would like. Let's rip the shot that the operator is now known. The flash is there. The star utilized as well. A repick now from Emmy, and this time she doesn't disappoint. Yamori, the first to fall. Can anyone from Scythe look for revenge? The res is there though instead. Recompense right now to bring it back to a 5v5. The Microspin also providing a safety zone here, courtesy of Crescent. The space made here by Scythe. Can they get there in the first place? Showstopper coming our way! And this time Yamori gets her revenge. Both are down though along the way. Japips trying to stay on site, but no chance as March is there. It's 4v3, and Scythe get the plan.
But the flank is coming in here from OGX, and lets him secure this garden. Casper, good for the one.
Oh.
Will she track the shed? Marche, she's been found out now. Element of surprise given up.
Well, what a dodge there from Casper. Now they know the corner needs to be cleared. Casper with a second one. Twirly with the facials too to provide pressure. Here comes the Cosmic Divide, but Skylee's fighting to back. Casper with the 3 already. She's been so consistent so far. An absolute threat on that roster of OGX. It's 2v1, but Crescent gets them both! What a way to win, and what a clutch anyway! She made the space, and she made it happen! It's match point for Scythe!
The crescent moon looms over OGX right now. A Scythe are looking to call it a night early here. Emmy gets the opening pick, yes, but the res, you see that becoming big. They knew getting her back up to the fight meant they would have the showstopper, and that's what they popped. Crescents as well. Due to the decay, it makes it way too easy to shred and transfer off the spray, taking him all down. It's a heartbreaker of a round here for OGX in the 2v1. And now you can see desperate buy for a desperate team.
This is a last hurrah right now from OGX. A Hail Mary play, and it works out for them. Their prayers answered by Emmy and Twirly. Orophilia still fighting on back. The teleport's there, and Orophilia is ready anyway. Goes into cover. Now on the inside, she's the one who can set the tone when the door opens. Maybe providing that contact. There you go with the smoke. So Looks like she picked something up, but Casper!
Spike down A.
Out of nowhere, the spray is perfect versus Orophilia. That spike dropped yet again. Crescent's now towards the corner. Looking to find at least a bit of safety on the retreat. But this push from OGX, it works out for them. Distraction with Toxic Screen. 3v2 for now, and Scythe trying at the very least to find that space to work with as Orangutan regroup instead.
Ruma still all the way towards B with that shoddy Bucky in hand, but it's the ace site that now Scythe are looking to try and crawl their way up on, and you can see here playing very far back Amy is. Like Casper, all she has to worry about is that front part of the map is being angled down here. Amy's
30
watching
seconds
her
left.
flank. Obviously triple, they can go wide and still evade Amy, but chances of that are a bit slimmer. The peek here, she gets a dink. She knows now where Presence is. Yamori, 1v1 on the site itself. And Casper, no problem at all closing it out. So OGX hold on where they need to the most.
Yeah, they're still alive, they're still fighting, and of course Casper is the one to watch out for in those kind of situations. Not only does she reinforce the shower push effectively and catch out Orophilia, but then again, she's the one who spotted out that contact towards shower first while holding on to the site, helping out Emmy at a moment's notice and trading effectively too. OGX, you know the fight is in them. Both Orophilia and Casper absolutely in prime form from what we've seen so far, especially in their previous bouts so far in this tournament. But it's Scythe and NWJ still in the driver's seat, still at the match point scenario. Good thing for OGX though, the gun disparity is clear and equal right now for the offense.
Well, I mean, they have rounds to give anyway, so they don't mind having to go in an eco in this type of position. We've seen them turn these around, but the judge on Twirly, this is going to be massive.
This is so many targets, but Skyly so quick to go for the trade. A sharp shot onto one, and now it leads to a 4v4 set. Crescent's picking up the judge. But in this regard, it's still difficult for Scythe to work with their arsenal. They teleport now towards the B side. They look for the wraparound, but no dice, no chance. It's not just Japips, but unexpectedly, Emmy's there too. The double up looking strong. The tandem yet again here from OGX. When they send one, there's always another along the way. Crescent's now chasing after Casper. Doesn't realize that she's lurking behind her. But it's so difficult. 1v3, whatever the gun there, she doesn't pick up the frenzy instead. She's right behind her.
She's trailing them.
Oh,
They have no idea.
absolutely.
They have no
Tracking
idea at
even.
all.
Oh, Casper,
30
no.
seconds left.
Unfortunate for Casper. A fighting chance right now for Crescent. Looks for the pre-fire, but no one's there. Zakal hookah home. Instead, Scythe has a chance to pick up that spike, but 20 seconds left, black and blue. She needs to go back to B. Doesn't really have the time to rotate towards A instead. Can Aruma and Emmy be prepared for this? Already the operator sitting pretty. The shot rings, but it doesn't get the hit. Crescent's now on the inside for cover. Fakes it! Makes the shot!
Do you have time?
Has time, perhaps?
think so.
It's gonna be very, very close.
She does.
And she gets the plant going! At the nick of time,
Barely.
Crescent is there yet again! And now, as Moonlight shines, Crescent is there too!
Oh!
Can she get the clutch? Yes, she does! What a way to win! And what a take of the opponent's map pick! Thank you, next, says Scythe! Thank you for letting them play Bind! And a 13-7 victory chills after Crescent just hounds the opposition and gets the win through tracking and true stealth.
Back-to-back clutches in a 1v2 once more. That was a 1v3 actually at the end there for Crescent, and I said they're looking to call this an early night. The moon shines bright and Crescent's even brighter. A great way to come back in an eco round. We've seen them continuously just be such a problem for OGX, who they might have shot themselves in their own foot by picking this map number 1, I have to say.
Yeah, same thoughts here, my friend. You can see the plan for OGX. You can see the trust in the system, but Scythe is just naturally prepared for it with their setup and with just how they play so actively on the map. Well done by Scythe and NWJ, but of course, you know who's gonna do even better? Our panelists to break down what just happened in that first map.
NWJ, I mean, whatever they ate before this game, they had it again at halftime, because I thought that this was going to be the closest map that we see all day based off of that first half, but NWJ just straight pedal to the metal, all systems go after the switch. Crescent's winning that 1v2 at 12-6, and the 1v3 at 13-7. Zach, I think you got a new nickname for her? You want to share for class?
Clutchins. Just clutchins, yeah. I know it's pretty cliche, but she deserves it after this time. Shining down indeed, Crescent's not gonna be that MVP, but in my heart at least she is the MVP for this particular game. Clutch after clutch, but for OGX, just to start with them, they do have Casper as that MVP. In fact, this seems to have been a battle of the Astros, both of them with a very, very similar scoreline. It's just that for the side of NWJ, I think the rest of the support players were just a little bit stronger. In particular, of course, Oriophilia that MVP, but Sky Elise and Crescents. We talked about Crescents as clutches, but my god, that first half from Sky Elise, she was just fragging, man. Kill after kill after kill. Absolutely insane. In fact, you look at the scoreboard and you might think that there's something wrong with it. Yamori, she might not be up on that kill feed, but that's more because all the rest of her teammates were killing everybody else. Yamori was just like, leave some for me, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I too appreciate it when my controllers go over 300 ACS. We've got the Astra 310 ACS, Sage 265 with Skylise, and Viper also like 250, 255. I mean, just what a role reversal in this map. But yeah, we were talking as the game was going on, right, about how it looked to be the controllers that are shining in this map. Number 1, post plans 6-7 for Scythe, 5 out of 10 for OGX. OGX, though, they did get 12 very nice first kills, considering the fact that it is a 7-13 that they lost the first map. I mean, definitely a couple of things that we can look forward to for them for map number 2.
For sure. It's actually kind of interesting to see that despite OG getting that first blood advantage so many of these rounds, they just weren't really able to capitalize on it fully. And in particular, I think what I would like to highlight on their attacking side is their post plan always looked a little bit shaky. So many times you saw them splitting up into these kind of isolated fights, and it came down to that last player to win out a 1v2 clutch. And of course, Casper, she stepped up quite a few times, but you can't expect that every single round out of your last player remaining. On the contrary, yeah.
I love this photo from Oreo. She's just like looking over her shoulder,
scary.
like, yeah, right? She's like casually looking over that shoulder, like, yeah, I'm MVP. So what?
Just literally.
I just love that energy, and I don't think we saw her entire full KDA, but like, oh yeah, she's just like, yeah, like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna just drop that casual MVP. I think she was 24-12, and I didn't catch the assist number towards the end. Yeah, I remember Dax was highlighting it during the cast as well. I think with around like 4 or 5 rounds left to that game, she already had that 17 assists, and I was like, man, like, Crescents, she did a really good job this time around, but I was like, yo, like, for sure, Oreo's gonna go home with that MVP.
Yeah, but for Orangutan at least, I might have jinxed them. If I have, I'm very sorry. But it's not the end. There are a couple more maps where they could possibly bring this back. But either way, huge performance coming out of Big Side. Let's see if they can keep that momentum up. But before we head into game number 2, I think we do have a little bit of a break coming in. So get some water, stay hydrated, and we'll be right back.
Show me what you got. Back that up, 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 back
Welcome back, guys, to what could very well be our last map for today, but not if Orangutan X have anything to say about this first. I mean, 13-7, the scoreline for that map number one of the closest games that we've seen in the last 3 days of the Open 3 playoffs. Map 2, it's going to be on Ascent as well, and if memory serves me, this is going to be Scythe's map pick after Orangutan banned Haven, which actually is Scythe's and OGX's most played map. But I mean, over here on Ascent, I think there's a chance, that OGX can run it back.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is the infamous 111 overtime catastrophe map that Orangutan, I think, permanently traumatized Coast and Sapphire with. So definitely a map that I personally really like seeing them play on. Of course, they have to be reeling from that loss, picking Bind and then losing it that badly. It's not the best, but hey, this is a map where they have a pretty good win percentage. They were able to take down Anomaly, No Charm, 13-9 in that Swiss stage, and throughout, the only time that they really lost this map over the course of this year has been against SMG. So a map that they definitely have their footing on, but the same could be said for Scythe as well, because of course this is their map pick. They looked extremely confident on Bind, and this is a map where they have in the past faced some level of difficulty.
Yeah, and another thing that I'm interested to see what will happen about is that the agent composition, right, for Ascent, when we took a look at the stats, actually seems a lot more similar than you would think, because the comp that NWJ usually run on Ascent, it's Jet, KO, Killjoy, Omen, as well as Sova. The composition that OGX usually, more than 50% of the time, run on Ascent is also Jet, KO, Killjoy, Omen, and Sova. So we just might see a mirror composition coming out from these teams. I think Orangutan X, if they do want to, cook up something a little more spicy, then sometimes, they throw the breaching in there. Sometimes they even throw the neon in there. I think once there was that one game they played like double duelist Jet and Reyna on this map as well. So I'm not sure which way they're going to go on this one, because this is elimination for them. This is top 4 on the line for them. Are they going to go standard, or are they gonna cook up a little something in the kitchen? What do we think?
I really hope they do have something cooking, because the thing that we saw in that last map was, despite their team comp ostensibly giving them an advantage in attack, they weren't able to take full advantage of it. Both Emmy and Turley are incredible duelists in their own rights, but they seem to just, until now, lack that synergy that you expect to see from your duelist pair. Like we talk about it, right? We see Forsaken and Jing, these days, Something and Jing pop off in that VCT stage. So when you have the double duelist comp, you need that kind of synergy between your two duelists. And today, at least, it doesn't seem to be on the table for Orangutan. So perhaps that role swapping and the double initiator combo coming in instead, that might set them up for a bit more success. Of course, their support roles, they've been looking pretty good over the course of this particular game, especially of course Casper on that Astra. But I think that team-wise, they're gonna have to step it up to another level in order to deal with what Scythe has brought to the table. Because Scythe today, they've been looking incredible, and there's that mirror matchup that you were talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we can find out if they're gonna run that double duelist or not. I actually think, as you mentioned, I 100% agree. I think that this is going to favor Orangutan X, and that, it's kind of, the fact that they're playing Ascent and they're going back to their roots in terms of agent composition, it kind of forces them off of the double duelist. I think a lot of the times, like, teams, like, when they think that they're doing well, it might not really be how their performance is showing, right? So I think, like, if it wasn't Ascent, maybe OGX would have been like, you know what, let's keep this up, let's try the double duelist again. But thankfully it's gonna be Ascent, and they're gonna go with what they're comfortable with.
Yeah, the most meta comp of all time for this particular map.
Oh,
as
yeah.
it should be, right? There's a reason for
Uh-huh.
it. It really sets you up for success. And, you know, we talked about the controller versus controller battle in that last map, but what I have my eyes on this time around is going to be that jet-on-jet fight. Twirly versus Yamori. Of course, Yamori in that last map, we didn't see her having too much of an impact, more because she wasn't really needed compared to, because the rest of her team was doing all of the cleanup work. But I think on this map, she's going to have to really go up hard against Twirly. Both these agents, they're going to be who I have my eyes on. The second thing that I personally enjoy watching is Jeffrey Sonsilla. We talked about it a little before. It's just really annoying, especially when she just picks up that Odin every now and then. Just devastating.
Yeah, and taking a look again at just like what is on the line for both of these two teams, right? I think coming into this matchup, Orangutan, they're sitting at I think 200 circuit points. They've got 150 from previous and then 50 minimum because of this top 6 finish. Scythe NWJ, they are only at 100 circuit points from open 1 and 2 and do have 50 this time as well from the 5th, 6th place finish. So this match is going to determine who has the higher seeding going into Elite. So it's definitely a series that neither of them want to lose. But of course, OGX will need to win this map first. And of course, we've got the familiar voices of Dax and Black and Blue for you guys. Gentlemen, over to you.
It's not as if we haven't been working for the whole year, right?
What do you mean? You've never
It's
heard
also
my
not.
voice.
No, of course, I
First time
don't
you're
like
hearing my
this.
voice like this.
Yeah, it's not as if we've been working with Jenny, especially for the past 2 days. But I'm gonna say this, Black and Blue. The stage is set perfectly for Scythe. This is the map that truthfully started this rivalry between Scythe as well as Orangutan. I remember back in Open 1, when they were still big Scythe, they tried playing the Astra, they tried playing the Breach, it wouldn't work versus Orangutan X. Now, it's the KO brought out here by Scythe, and they're the ones with the advantage. Can Orangutan X spoil the fun yet again? Or will Big Scythe, or rather Scythe this time, Scythe NWJ, get the dub that they need over Orangutan and move on into the next round? This is looking very exciting, especially from what we saw after that first map.
I mean, Scythe and NWJ have been looking pretty successful so far in the 2 outings as his roster, as soon as they bring out that KO, so it could be where they turn things around. History, it always could be changed, especially if you learn from those previous mistakes. It's Orangutan now in a difficult spot. Luckily for them, historically, this has been one of their better maps. It is a map, though, that, I mean, they have faltered in the past, but who doesn't at some point? I think it is a pick of NWJ. So
yeah, it is.
It's kind of like that thing where you wonder why OGX picked Bind, but then you also have to wonder, NWJ, they left a sent in for a reason.
Yeah, it's kind of like poetry in motion if Scythe NWJ can deliver the way that they would want. If not, we're gonna probably say the same question we said a while ago. Why did Scythe pick this map after what we saw there on Bide when Orangutan picked a map that their opponent was so comfortable in? Here we go, though, the mirror matchup looking very exciting. Yet again, Crescents and Orifil, probably the players to watch out for here for Scythe. They've been incredible so far in their Open 3 run. But on the attack, on the assault, Twirly looking to lead now from Covey. The flash comes on in. The alarm bot is there, though, to give a warning if ever. Mid taken by Orangutan as well. Smoke is out, so a chance to cross. The alarm bot broken. In sight right now. They're putting their forces towards A, being pulled well by Orangutan. Look at how Orangutan's manipulating the battlefield right now. Pushing even towards defender spawn with a spike in hand. Eyes are on Marche, and she falls first and foremost. A pivot perhaps, moving towards the site itself. A looking open thanks to Twirly. The fight back is there courtesy of Sky Elise. But here comes the number. Sky Elise fighting on back, looking for the push. Gets the confirmation, yes. But it's 4v3. The Nano Smart with the burn. And this is a chance for Orangutan. Woo! Yamori, where'd that come from?
What am I watching?
But at least, exactly, so many fortunate kills. But Orangutan make their way towards the site.
Well, fortune at least favoring OGX here. Although Crescents has a good spot to be able to try and dismantle this. If he gets an 8, timing right, gets the one. He does take him on down. It's all on the Yamori. She knows where both of them are remaining. Sheriff and Hatch, she can win this opening pick. So, Shock Dart tags her up.
Shock Dart, evens more so, 72 HP. Casper in a perfect spot to just get the kill with precision. Jumping there, golding the opposition. There we go with the Sheriff ringing through, but Casper just watches her opponents unleash the bullets, not get the tag she would like, and Orangutan instead win the first round.
You know, if she paused for like barely a few milliseconds there, it would have actually been, the reset would have been in time for her to actually connect that shot here on the swing. But at least in the end, OGX, they get the round that they needed to get themselves back into the groove of things here. And Casper, very fortunate, doesn't fall prey to that Sheriff, at least for the meantime. To buy here from OGX, put them in a better spot to really take these type of rounds, and I'll see if here now on the attacking side, they can start to build up a lead to really close things out in the second half.
And yeah, Orangutan, now that they're here on the set, something we know they're more accustomed to historically, they're seeing even more dimensions of play that pull towards the spawn. Looking stellar so far. Orangutan can keep Scythe away from that initial contact. It's a chance for them to just take the sites here for free. And case in point, Oriofilia on such a long lurk alongside Yabori. The rest of NWJ have to just witness the spike plant by this point. Trying to regroup at least, maybe put the pressure towards B main. Casper's the one waiting for that angle. Knife also gets confirmation. Sky Elise is the one nearby. Casper here suppressed. She's gonna have to fight her way out of this one. Decides to retreat, smoke dissipates, and Sky Elise isolated first and foremost. The pistols are out here for NWJ. They're gonna try to go for the rush down, but they're stopped immediately by Torley and Casper. Here comes Oriofilia, but she falls to the hand of Casper at the very end. OGX is so ready for the first 2 rounds.
That's the thing, they have to be though. They can't be slacking. They can't be caught unaware or unprepared for what NWJ are about to throw at them. Luckily for their sake, they're on the attacking side here, which means that they can pick and choose which fights to necessarily take a lot of time or where they want to go, but it's not like NWJ who can simply plant themselves and pick which angles they want to play off of, what setups they want to really enable here. But OGX right now, it's the type of round where you want to play the long game, you want to be able to make damage early and try and take some weapons out of NWJ's hands.
Yeah, that's what the Sheriffs are about. Spectres too. And at least right now, a bit of firepower if they can get close enough to begin with. Crescent though, stalling with the fragments. This is still OGX who love to play towards mid. You're spotted now by the alarm bot though. Scythe have adjusted your utility accordingly. A tree stack here, waiting towards Pizza. Marcia, as well as Crescents, just looking to see if anyone do dare cross, and it's a different setup here for Scythe right now. A bit more passive on the defense, holding the angles instead. Maybe Sky Elise will bring the aggression, exactly that. Swings off the turret contact, puts Casper at a critical state. The rest of Orangutan playing still in mid. Such a slow play right now, looking for opportunity. Smoke's there too. And Crescent, she's waiting for that contact. Flash is there. The dart even. The triple swing leads to the demise of Crescent. She gets one for her troubles. A gun perhaps to be picked on up. No 4v4 still. As NWJ, we're watching Oriofilia. She's ready for this one. Paranoia to go for the stall. OG Nick X need to respect that.
It's a good scan there. Try and find that pick, and Paranoia just keeps him at bay for the meantime. OGX, not the best round just yet. This guy needs to have a free kill here. Make that the double for her.
Down mid.
Casino. Yep, now she does where Aruma is. The swing, not going to favor her, and she's down for the count. Third for Sky Elise, and that gets him close to the lockdown early, so nice stoppage here from NWJ.
Yeah, simple spray sweeps them away, and NWJ looking better than ever. Quick adjustments, honestly. As soon as they realize mid is a point of contention that OGX love to play from, they put a bit more value in it with the utility. You see the crossfire setup towards the defender spawn itself. And perhaps, maybe that's the game of conditioning OGX wants. If they pull away those defenses away from main as soon as possible, it will give them a better chance to go for the hard hit. Looking to be likely. B now, maybe the target. There you have utility towards Cubby instead. Aruma clashing with the dart is perfect. Well marked by Marcia. And NWJ gets that first kill.
Blocking sight.
That's a great pick for them to find here. Gonna make that backline more flank potent. Emmy, good on the one. Oh, early. Okay, maybe took time. She got the kill.
Yeah.
No reason to panic.
A kill's a kill anyway, and she finds it there. OGX, always a possible pinch if ever they entrap Scythe along the way. Immediately a retake now. 3v4 scenario. Casper so low on the HP. She might just be the dangling bait if ever to allow someone else to trade. Swirly perhaps. First contact by the staircase. Looking for the clear. There's the knife being thrown towards B main. OGX now knows it's all gonna be about the market. Oriofilia gets the tag and the bag. Flash up in the air. Emmy looking to buy some time to dash on in. They're looking for the clear. Casper's still alive and fighting. Defense is there too. And well done by OGX. They were ready for any angle, and they took any opportunity they could have there.
Well, I mean, it was unfair for Yamori because Emmy's got a heartbeat scanner in her gun.
Ha ha ha. Pay to win? Not gonna happen though.
Not here. Not in this
Not
game.
this game.
OGX, though, for real talk, the way that they're able to really kind of suddenly shift upon the expectations of NWJ. You saw them get that pincer working towards B main, and when NWJ, the decision making just hasn't been sound on which positions they necessarily want to claim and keep to theirs. It becomes this positional problem where inherently they're fighting in much lesser, potent positions.
Yeah, and honestly, you'd think that maybe here on the set it'll be even easier the way that they played on Bind, but as Caster makes it so difficult for Yamori, that teleport, not the best. Perhaps maybe missed there, but beyond that, Sky at least was ready for it. 3v4 though, a Bulldog in that clutches Sky at least. She's waiting by market right now, but the avenues for Orangutan, they don't even need to force the issue towards B. They can rotate across, move into A if ever. Right now, that's what they're gonna do, but here, the harder path towards Spawn, and Marcia fighting back. Still alive and kicking. 1v2 situation so far. Reinforced not by Sky Elise, but now the transfer towards that A site. OGX realized the setup.
Good shots there. Especially with the Sheriff connecting from range on Crescents, from Crescents rather. So 2v3. Another question, they got the lockdown to utilize, but obviously the Hunter's Fury, that's something they have to make sure that if they're gonna use this lockdown, they better get value out of it.
Yeah, darts there, alarm bot triggered too. Twirly now, waiting for the Aldron to get intel. Already a strong position for OGX to play from main. Rifles at the ready, not only that, the Hunter's Fury available too in a pinch. Marche trying to see if anyone dares peek. Sky Elise has the lockdown, but not the round they're gonna use it for. They give it up, they cede it to OGX.
Yeah, this is not a round they need to continue to fight for. They know the odds are against them, and they're going to try and save up instead, bring rifles into the next, keep that lockdown more importantly into the next, and if Japeeps uses her Hunter's Fury to try and get a punish or try and initiate, then that will be a signal here for NWJ to have a free signal to play for that retake and use a lockdown to its fullest potential, but NWJ, I'd wager if they don't take this round, a timeout is inbound.
Yeah, this is already such a good half from OGX to begin with. 4 rounds strong already out of 5. And I look at their stats, their defense is even scarier moving forward. So a buffer here by OGX, ultimates to work with as well. And a way that they're just manipulating the site rotations. The fact that they put that pressure in mid keeps site so wary and away from the main angles as much as they would like. Sky Elise, you always have to need to see her step up even more so because there's so much responsibility to hold that angle. Crescent's having to back away. The suppress is there, and Twirly already leading this push. Cloudburst to cover up the advance, putting pressure towards market, trying to at least give that semblance of a split push. And OGX from that point on will cut noise and keep NWJ guessing.
Well, Blade's here for Twirly, which means that even if they lose this round, they still gotta buy it, and after that, she could potentially continue the train of thought, but they push on forward here to CD. We've seen this from OGX. They love to push all the way deep, past the pizza, and really keep it baking. So, NWJ, you can see they're trying to be really cautious of that possibility. They've been playing all the way back a lot of times and just making sure the run out doesn't happen. As now they're going to try and execute on the B site. Anchor is dodging the scan for the meantime. This could be big.
Other things, and it's time now to try and come and collect the Crescents. Making sure that Emmy can't find value. Same case for Twirly. The hold on Boathouse. This ship refuses to sink, and Crescent is the captain so far. She's ready for more. She's gotten 3 already. She was clutch a while ago. She's fighting back now, but Aruma giving a chance to OGX. But 1v3, it's just too many to deal with. Marsha had the angle, and this round goes to Scythe.
Yeah, big anchor here. Coming in from Crescents and Sky Elise. They go down, but they've done their job. Sky with a 1, Crescents with a 2, and then the third follow-up right on after. Great shot she's able to find here. And the fact that they were able to dodge that scan, just... they were so unaware here now, OGX. And the fact that there's also 2 of them, because a lot of times you see a solo anchor there. Kind of have to 50-50 if it's left or right, and then the coin flip can suddenly turn their chances upside down. But both of them there, they got all bases
Get out
covered.
of my way.
And if you notice, right, that initial kill was enough for Crescents to bring out that null command. And Oreophilia, strong start to begin with. They already expect the contest from Cubby, but it's still enough for NWJ to get ahead. Difficult even more so for OGX. Twirly's gone, the Aldron there to get the intel. And more Scythe getting a bit comfortable and understanding the OGX setup. They're keeping the pressure towards mid. The alarm, but still getting the intel. And as of right now, Scythe with some solid reads.
Okay. I mean, as you said, strong start here for NWJ and Oreophilia especially. They get the early advantage. Hunter's Fury is still available, but with Crescents being this far up close, she has to be aware that OGX have the tendency of pushing through this smoke specifically. Oh, perfect timing on the fragment. She knew the smoke came, and that was her signal to lay loose.
Yeah, strong spray even enough to get the kill. Courtesy what? A single pulse. Emmy also spotted on out. NWJ yet again. More and more figuring out how to solve this puzzle. And Sky Elise, perhaps she has the right pieces along the way. Over onto the corner. Marchand, the shock dart value! Lightning in the bottle, striking twice basically. And NWJ just now one away from tying things up.
Nicely done here, and just sublime is the way that March A connects. Double shock dart. Electrifying comeback here coming from NWJ. Timeout forced out of OGX, I believe. As I said here, great timing as well on this. 3 kills really aided by utility there. Even though the first one was off the spam, but you can see the pulse doing enough damage to really help confirm that ultimate's being built up here. So much on either side to use and dump.
Yeah, there's so many ways to be a bother right now, and honestly for Orangutan X, it's a difficult buy situation. They have ults to try and force things out, yes. And perhaps now they can go to something a bit more stock standard, put that pressure towards Bane, change things up because NWJ is finding more value and finding the counters towards that mid push. It's really the mix-up that OGX can rely on while they're on the attacking side. If they can just keep pulling and conditioning Scythe, it will give them the chance. But if they fall into the setups and to the preparedness of Scythe and NWJ, then that's where the defense has been absolutely, as you said, sublime.
Well, the defense here, depending on this op now from Yamori, to try and change up things. It's not the most, how do I say this, ideal weapon sometimes against an eco, because he can get overrun pretty quick when, and a lot of times in an eco to try and run it down. Look at this, solo Vandal coming out from Twirly.
The rifle, because he doesn't have the blades. So instead, maybe that Hunter's Fury, that null command also one to watch out for, because it might dislodge Yamori, but never mind, Emmy has been brought to the blue screen of that. And Yamori gets such a prime target that could have been one of the biggest bothers into the round. Swirly now, looking at least for any kind of contact towards main. The Aldrone yet again scouting out mid. And Casper, she's happy to play the lurk towards A. She has the From the Shadows anyway in a pinch. But slow play here from OGX. Now there's intel courtesy of the turret. They're trying to fake this A push. Looking to at least gather and pull that rotation. But Scythe, do they fall for it? Not as much as OGX would like.
Oh.
3 still standing here by B. Notice something. Oh, but you can't dodge the shot. All done by Twirly.
That was aided because of the fact they didn't know Twirly was there. Twirly barely able to bypass that knife. Oh, angle here by Crescents once more from the back boathouse. She's raining havoc.
She's just such a strong anchor. Despite Dink, she's happy to stand tall. Looking sturdy so far. Aruma into the corner. And just no escape whatsoever. Casper now finally rotating, but realizes everyone's gone. She's all alone on this island. And she will sink with the ship too. Marchand ties things up. NWJ looking better than ever on the defense now.
Yeah, they tied things up, equalize things now, but still not the bad half just yet at all for OGX. One more round is a lot of times all really a team would necessarily strive for in this case, just to have a lot more closer potential of, you know, closing out that second half. But they're slowly but surely building these rounds in return. Lockdown available for both, same as the Hunter's Fury, but null command, that's where they can shut things down. They can use the lockdown to initiate and the null command to stop the Hunter's Fury from destroying it.
Yeah, they have ways at least to answer back. And here we go again with the Aldrone. Yamori though burning the dash after the tag. At least now there's a bit more room for Orangutan X to work with. That's exactly what Torley and Emmy are trying to provide. Still together in the front line, despite not being on that double duelist. The Aldro now looking to contest. The shots through the wall even as Marja tries to find the angle. But here we go again. Orangutan stalled so far by Scythe answering that mid presence.
That confirms the op is still there. Small angle. So smart by them not to commit to it. Keeps the defense towards here. Null command popped out now. A side is a target and they're running it down all the way in. But NWJ, they know not to play within that site, not when the null command's active. So they play back instead. Looking to play retake. It's going to be a complete utility and ultimate shuffle here.
I'm watching out for the lockdowns. Who will put theirs down first and foremost? Spikes planted though. Yamori looking for any target of opportunity. Jump peeking now. Trying to go to anyone to peek if ever. Casper though on the inside of Hell in the perfect angle to go for the paranoia. Darky ready. The presence finds Emmy. A good catch right now. Even better intel here for the side of Scythe. But Twirly clearing out Cubby. The lockdowns are there and the hole is even better. Twirly through the smoke. Even Casper on the board. And it's all Twirly now. Causing chaos and throwing the opposition for a loop. Hands up for Casper. Can Oreo get out inside with the teleports? Yes, she does. Not detained whatsoever. 2v1 as time is running out. She feels the pressure and looks like Casper is going to evacuate also. This is OGX finding the timings with the ultimates. And just well done by Twirly too to hold the angle down.
And Twirly going massive there on the tree, planting herself. They're going to reap what they sow off the seeds of what she's done in that round. To continue here with the lead. Do not give it up just yet. Do not get overtaken. They were neck and neck for a while, but now they've at least started to clear some distance. And Aruma just also with that lockdown placement of hers, kind of winning them round, buying the time afterwards to force Oreophilia out to try and save herself instead. But once again, the big hole here really coming in from the flank on towards Tree as OGX, great effort they're able to put up when the going gets tough here in Ascent.
Yeah, Orangutan's always going to be a threat. That's the thing. We haven't really seen these rounds be that lopsided in this game. You know that there's always a player like Casper who has been very consistent. I think one of the hottest players so far in this tournament has been Twirly. Yes, there have been a bit of downtimes for her, but the peaks we've seen so far, just sometimes the stellar showings round after round, once she gets heated up like that, she's going to be an absolute threat, and we'll see now if she can work on that factor. One away from the Blade Storm, picks up a rifle still. Yamori having the operator, and that might be the answer here for Scythe, but B looking to be the pressure here.
The round will continue here right now. Operator out for Yamori once more. Will be the difference maker on this defensive side. Skylise has got the turret to kind of swing off of it. Leaving the lurk here of Aruma. Skylise connects. Get on the one. She can tell there's much more presence here, but not entirely threatened by the idea.
Yo, she's been so consistent at that. Swing off that initial turret contact. She sets it up, knocks it down. Good bot. Good turret. And this time around, even more so across our being set. Smoke dissipates. Could have been a timing there for presence, but the Pips gets out in time. Here comes Emmy. Same case for Casper. And Casper, noticing, you mentioned it, open out there. Found out and felled. Hunter's Fury gets the connection. And Pips is an absolute marksman. Archery at its finest. OGX right now looking for the push. Tagged down, taken down. Marsha doesn't need utility as she does get the connection. Aruma though, timing everything, knows the upper is there. And this is gonna be perfect. Aruma! Chances like this! This is perfect! But Yamori will capitalize on the time taken. 2v2 for now. Could have been critical damage. It's still something though, as we have OGX onto the site. Casper waiting though, sees the cross, has the angle, teleports on out into the smoke. Japips also getting back into cover. It's 1v2 now. All eyes on Yamori. Can she actually get things done? Dashing on in forward. Clapper's is there too for the cover. Alex in this fight versus Casper. Gets that kill. It's all up to Japips right now. There's the spray down through the smoke. And she knew exactly where her opponent was. OGX wins it.
Well, luckily Japips is sharp because, unfortunately for Aruma, she could have had 2 at least, maybe 3, if she had better target prioritization. In that case, you go for the long range Omen, and then you flick on over to Yamori, and then you go back towards Sova if you can't chain them both together, because Sova on that ult will have to try and stow it away And that will take a lot of time, but let bygones be bygones. OGX still take the round. The operator here not being effective for NWJ. They should take that as a hint to not try and force it up. It hasn't been working.
Yeah, don't bother, right? Let's go for the close contest instead. They've been strong in that factor. The Guardian, though, looking to play long range. Mori trying to find some tabs with Twirly. Fleet-footed, already ready to provide some footwork here. The flash is there. The scan also gets the insult. Rafters now for the position of power here for NWJ. See that Emmy's really setting things up. Twirly now dancing around these boxes, dashing now towards the wall to provide some cover, and a stellar right click there to just cut up Oreophilia. A 2-for-1. The site's taken. Yamori low HP as well. Twirly looking to climb up towards the rafters and ascend here on Ascent. Spikes planted though. Shock darts also trying to provide a bit more space to work with. Aruma onto the corner, but Crescent has her number. It's 3v3 now, and maybe the pressure from Doorway can provide a reprieve here for Scythe. Long command also here. Twirly now spotting at Yamori, and it's Crescent instead with the takedown. Sky Ellie's on the board. There's the tap trying to flush out Twirly. A 2v1 and the spray down into the takedown. NWJ, they had the angles of opportunity, and they will take command because of it.
Mori was crouching and moving, while spamming that Guardian, and while it might not have necessarily connected, it just pulled so much attention because she was so open, and OGX tunnel visioned on her, which allowed Crescents and Sky Elise from that backline, from Tree especially, to just cause havoc and get the kills and play off the aggro that Yamori was doing. So the Duelist doing Duelist things, pulling that attention, the rest of them follow up, so they have a good chance of tying things up here. To get 5 is really the minimum that you need, but for the defensive side, it's not the best looking ideal.
See now, can Scythe tie things up as OGX do come in from main. Perhaps now we get a stronger contest here from Scythe as OGX go for the full send instead. The dart's there, the paranoia too, but Crescent eventually gets that kill. Oreophilia on the board, but Twirly is good for 2 before she's found out by Oreophilia. Flash now, Emmy going for the flush, but March is so quick and so precise. We are done with a half with a tied scoreline.
Lots of double kills for Marche this game, ain't it? She's been really gaining them these sudden advantages. I mean, Twirly, sharp as ever, gets that double for the back site, but there's just so much more help to come on in. Great attempt, and they should have had the site by then, but you can see just the endless onslaught and waves coming from NWJ. But endlessly, to keep us a company, it's Jenny and Zach.
Placing sentry.
Thank you, gentlemen. OGX getting that 6-6 on attack on Ascent. Score number looks tied, but then they are switching over to defense on a defensive-sided map. Zach, what do we think that NWJ maybe slipped up in the first half of bout? I know, like, Dax was bringing up the operator, for example. Maybe they were forcing it a bit. What do you think?
Yeah, the operator was a good factor. They definitely, I feel like it didn't have nearly as much impact as it should have. Of course, we're playing fantastic, and the kind of dynamic that we saw shape up towards those last sides, we couldn't really see that in the beginning of the game, and I think that was what really led to their kind of slow start. They were able to find that synergy. I believe it was Dax brought up Marche and her affinity to chain these skills together. Marche and Yamori, both of them kind of woke up towards that end, but until that happened, it was just incredibly difficult for the side of Scythe to really manage that retake.
So I know you predicted that 2-0 before that map number 1. Now that that's out of the window, could still be 2-0, just maybe in a different direction. But where do we think the second half is gonna go?
I mean, it could. That's very likely. I don't know which team is gonna win. Of course, both of them have proven to be incredibly resilient. But Orangutan in this map, at least, they've had a very good start. I don't want to jinx them even further, but it's gonna take if for example Scythe can keep together the synergy that they've had over the last 3 rounds in the second half, especially when they're switching over to attack. A lot of that heavy lifting is gonna fall onto the shoulders of Yamori. If she can keep it up, it might be a 2-0. But I believe in the 8 gang. Hoo.
All right, well, a bit of a seesaw flip-flopping from us over here at the panel, but of course there's still the second half and map number 2 all to play for. Guys, take it away.
Hey, Zach said the tagline, who, who? And my question is, who will step up now?
Were you an
as we
owl?
have... Bro, the team is called Orangutan, not Orangutan.
Yeah,
Okay?
but you keep on hooting.
You see the logo. It's very clear on the screen what kind of animal that is, my friend.
The orangutan of Wall Street. Well, OGX. Looking to make their money, Dex.
Yes, I too have watched Barbie. There you go. All smiles there, but it's a tied scoreline. It can be anyone's game. And the dance that started on Ascent all the way back in Open 1 continues now here in Open 3. Orangutan, though, having those 6 rounds already such a good sign. They're absolutely stellar on their defense. They're looking ready to still hold for that mid contest as well. And instead, Scythe now, they're stacking up to play towards B main, cutting noise as much as possible. As soon as OGX realize there's no presence towards mid, Casper turning around, trying to set up perhaps a few smokes along the way. Utility setup from Aruma too, gonna be crucial. There's the dart for the clear. Aruma, everyone's looking at her right now, the dash on in. There you have the suppress as well. And space made here by Scythe. No one lagging behind. This B main push from Orangutan can't find anyone so far.
Well, they take the site without much of a fuss. I mean, they went for that kind of initial mid push, but nothing really came of it. Ophelia making sure the backline is checked, but Casper gets the better of her, and now they equalize 4v4.
Just so poetic yet again, Casper ready for anyone that can come her way. Sky Elise though on the board. Advantage right now for Scythe as they try to play off-site. Casper, Japips fight back now. 2v2 after everything's said and done. Such a difficult corner here for Sky Elise. She's spotted, she's found, and she's taken on down. All left to Marcia. She's been good with the double kills before. Can she do so yet again? Sticking around towards the corner, looking for any kind of moment to isolate this angle. Creeping now towards the back line. Just anticipating, pushing. But the swing comes from both ends. It's OGX with the kills. It's gonna be close though in terms of the timer, and they're looking at it. It's not gonna happen. NWJ buying a second to spare.
Yeah, did the bare minimum of staying alive, burning time, and taking them down with her. NWJ here. They're doing a good job in this open especially. Nobody would expected them to be this explosive of a team. You may say open 3. I will say open 3.
I'm not gonna continue that because you know where this conversation is gonna go. You and I both know this one topic we never want to open on broadcast. But it's a
like
big boom
movies.
towards that B side. I know you love it, and I can't wait for you to watch it again. But OGX, they do want to play a bit more aggressive towards main. Still, Crescent's on that KO, and honestly, this adjustment from Scythe to play the same comp as OGX, it allows them more avenues to find out what's going on and just sniff out where OGX want to play earlier on into these rounds here.
They have a setup here towards B main though, and if you can play off each other's contact, they might actually be able to do a decent amount of damage to your turret. Lets them know. Good reaction from OGX to not kind of overreact to it. The drone does clear out Aruma though, and they simply dismantle that hold.
And you know what's interesting as Yamori's in, finds Emmy, gets that kill, and this should be a sweep here, courtesy of Scythe. If you notice that owl drone, it technically protected Yamori. She was just hugging the owl drone. It was blocking her from overstepping. Twirly though. Sharp shot. I like what I see, but is it going to be enough? 1v4, so difficult right now. Scythe though, this B main push working very well so far.
Well, isn't that why we have a robot's task to do the task too dangerous for any human?
90% of all jobs taken by AI. Maybe one day will be replaced the same way, but for now, Scythe will put themselves in a place of victory.
Imagine.
2 rounds now, get the gap.
Imagine a league where the pro players are just bots. Like, you know, like
And
bots.
the casters are
like
bots.
AI. And they're just,
Everyone's a bot.
yeah, everything's just a bot.
Yo, there are tournaments like that that people sometimes watch. It's not really for FPS. I think it's for more for RTS, right? Where it's just bot versus bot
That's a
tournament.
thing.
Watch them fight. Yeah, it's a rare thing, but
I think it
happens
might be a
from
thing
time
in
to time.
racing too, but in this case, first one to the finish line, definitely going to benefit.
Here.
10WJ up in the series, and if they can close this out, that's going to be such a huge win against a team that has made it to the grand finals in the past. Oh, Okay, Twirly. Glad you're back with
Yeah,
us.
they're fine. They're good. They're good. All good in the hood. As Scythe do decide to retreat after baiting out a bit of utility there from OGX. Emmy, she used up the fragment, a single flash too. And seems like that's the case here for Scythe. How they're gonna go for the offense, pull utility as much as possible, maybe get some lurk presence from Yamori as well. But really, eyes are on Japips as well as Aruma right now. The Owl Drone scouting out the corners, very meticulous from Scythe, knowing exactly how OGX have been playing out this defense. The fragment breaks the turret. There's the knife as well, getting a bit of intel, but they only see one. Do they realize both Japips and Emmy are in position here? A bit of time still to rotate, and here we go again, pulling attention away.
Yeah, but look, Yamori's already set up here towards A main. The thing is, though, she can't really push her way in, not without the backup of her team. And because they've rotated away, the smoke comes in here, and they've already anticipated this push to come towards the A site. Her element of surprise otherwise could have been a lot more effective, but Twirly's still staying in, climbing the fight. No more dash, gets the one. No more follow-up just yet, and everything just crumbles down here for NWJ as OGX simply have much more to throw into the pot and win the fight.
Absolutely, that's the recipe of success. And OGX, they knew that was going to be a commit. They knew by that point on that, oh, Scythe's gone here from B. You still have Twirly keeping an eye out, and it was just such an effective way to take that victory. This is why OGX has such a strong defense. They don't get faked out from these kind of rotations as much as any other team. They're very stabilized on their positions, and case in point, that dub there, relatively quickly done by the end of the round.
Well, they keep it close for sure. But now, gun round out for both. I'd say it's a full buy, but not really. It's a Guardian Bulldog out here for the defense, and OGX. Oriophilia shuts down Casper. And now that sends a message here to OGX not to get overzealous. NWJ keeping their heads on a swivel and keeping their eyes and aim true and sharp.
Honestly, that's such a rare situation where Casper falls first. And this is perfect for NWJ. Less smokes for OGX to work with. Visibility gonna be so clear, especially on the pushes towards the site. And the split approach now. Scythe taking a page out of the OGX playbook, bringing that mid presence and looking to provide value with the pressure. Japips,
Right here.
poor turret.
What did she do? You deserve that.
She just
wanted to play as well.
I feel so bad for it, but the lockdown's there.
Yep, the ping.
And now the action, looking to pick up. They did get the dart, yes, but Aruma's here, setting up the turret as well. Looking to find the cross paranoia plus the smoke. Perfect cover provided by Oriophilia.
Whoa.
But Emmy already with a good catch on the Sky Elise. Japips looking for opportunity. Aruma's there with the find on the march. And Twirly watching out from it as well. So many cover angles here by OGX. Japips on side and just so prepared. And as soon as NWJ thought they had a chance, OGX shut the door on them.
Yeah, they were ready for the fight. They knew, even with the lockdown in place, fragment on the choke, nano swarms just completely scattered and encapsulating that entirety of the lane. And even when, like, you saw their Oriophilia try and shadow step her way into lane, into a better position, she finds herself on top of a swarm, on top of a molly. It just creates such a precarious situation for the pushing NWJ side. That's why Scythe called a timeout here. See how they can cut this up and try and serve it better.
Yeah, twice now. Just different antics and different forms of what we've seen from OGX. But it still amounts to how stable they feel on the site. That they're so confident to hold these kind of angles with individual players, be able to reinforce at a moment's notice. And let's not forget, that was an initial pick from site. So they haven't found the answer yet to dismantle this OGX defense, and some strong power positions have given Orangutan X a chance to tie things up and maybe take the lead from this point on.
Well, this round will define who does keep or take the lead here. Find themselves
Turret out.
in pole position to close out the map, potentially. Twirly got her blades to go on for this type of round, and against an eco, it can be absolutely devastating to try and connect those shots with a jet like her. Dancing, twirling, and spinning around. Let's see how they turn this game around, though. NWJ, they went up in the series against the map pick of OGX, and OGX looking to do the same.
Yeah, different tango now here for Yamori. Blades out. Stinger for Oriophila as well, and it's very interesting because she can actually use the From the Shadows. Perhaps provide the pinch here if ever, if Orangutan isn't prepared, but gonna already see Orangutan expecting the aggression to come the B lane way. The shock dart's there. Looking to pepper up the opposition. Crescent so low to begin with. 68 HP. Counter shock dart right now to clear out utility, but Aruma is so prepared instead. Yamori, there you go. That's stellar. That's a good start. The paranoia's there too. Gets the connection. Fly high Yamori because she soars on and gets that kill. Twirly now in position. Casper too! And Casper! Where did she come from? Suddenly an apparition that will haunt NWJ to come. Yamori still fighting, still kicking. She's gotten 3 so far. Needs to get the ace to clutch it out for her squad. She's stuck here by both hands. Has the spike in hand. Gives herself away. You mentioned it. The dash is primed. Goes for the fake. There's the swing. And Emmy's ready for it. No way, no chance. OGX is always at the ready on this half.
Couldn't connect there, Yamori. And Casper materializing at the nick of time to hold down that B hall, rather that back portion of the map towards the boathouse. And, well, they tried to simply sail on in. Provides a much rougher path to it. Tech pause for the meantime, but to op once again, but this time around on OGX's side, Twirly bringing it out here, and as I said, those blades will be a big problem on the eco, but now this is when NWJ have to try something different. You have completely 2 different deviations here. Like, do you try and slow it down once more, or you try and just simply rush your way? You have to pick the right side if you're going to do so. You can see that they were trying to take mid a while ago away. They'd smoke up that deep pizza, but it's the op that would be a problem for them. I want to see them try that once more, but maybe take a page out of OGX's book. Remember how OGX would push out all the way there towards spawn from the top of mid, rather from the bottom of mid towards that pizza. They can maybe try and do the same more and catch OGX off guard.
Please stop saying pizza. I'm already hungry.
I am hungry.
9 p.m. here. You're making me hungry. Deep pizza? What? You want to go to Chicago or you want to go to Sbarro? Pick your poison.
I prefer it Neapolitan style.
Wow. Dude, New York's good too. You know, do you
New
know?
York, but
well,
I like deep dish.
Look, we're in a tech buzz, so I'm gonna give you a fun fact right now.
What's
you know
that?
why New York pizza is so good?
It's from New
because
York.
of- yes, I'm walking here.
I'm walking
but it's
here.
because of the water, apparently.
What?
The water that they use for the...
Is it from the bay?
Yeah, basically. Whatever water they have in New York, it's perfect for the dough and perfect to just amplify that taste.
Is that a
apparently.
cap?
So that's your fun fact of the day.
Is that for
no.
fur?
This is for fur. This is actually for once.
But aren't there a lot of boats over there? Which means...
I think you can still get water, black and blue, even if there are boats in the way.
Yeah, but I mean like more the gas and the oil and everything polluting your water source.
Bro, there are boats everywhere. Every single body of water has basically been touched by human invention, my friend. And that's what distillation is all about.
Sure.
Do you not know how water works?
What do you mean? It's wet.
No, it's not. It's not actually. Water is not wet technically. It just gives the status of wetness to other things.
Isn't that in itself wet?
No, apparently not. It's some weird semantics, I know.
It's like saying fire is not burning. But they say
Fire
the
is
fire
burning.
is burning.
Fire is burning.
See?
But water's not
The
wet.
the lightning's electrifying. The water is wetting.
Maybe it's because it's an action. I don't know, man. I don't make the rules. We have 2 languages we can speak. Sometimes we just kind of get confused with the other one.
Yeah, sometimes it's not even the language, it's more the accent that you pull out for the point.
Hey, we're so off topic right now. Technical pause real quick. And
Oh, right
we're
on time.
done. Very good.
Yep.
I do feel though for Scythe, someone needs to step
Planned.
on up even more so. It seems like they're struggling to really commit the way that they would like, because as soon as they get that initial entry, it's that second wave that OGX is more prepared for that suddenly shifts the favor into the defense's advantage.
Well, they're looking to make waves here right now. Hey.
Yo, Pacific.
Uh-huh. Twirly, gun up. And she's looking to dip deep into this B main, but nobody really there to kind of play off of it. Turret will alarm them that there was some sort of active aggression here, but it's one that's a bit more kept in the pocket.
Yeah, well, let's see if this pocket play can work out here. So much utility set up yet again by Aruma. The turret already getting confirmation, and as soon as that happens, Casper with an immediate smoke, making it even more difficult for Scythe to look to find the cross. This knife can be a make-or-break moment for Crescents. Does you realize that Aruma's here hugging the corner? There's the suppress right now. There's the smoke even. Crescents now leading the charge, clearing and going for Jenny. Bringing the dart, but it still gets a scan anyway. OGX need to see this. Crescents with the find onto Casper. A good beginning yet again. Orophilia picking up the spike that has been left behind. So it's a sure way here for Scythe. They decide to commit on this A side. Spikes planted. 5v4 for now.
Also makes certain that they keep him guessing on this swing. Look at that Crescent just jaywalking across the way.
Well, she can't see what's going on. Might as well. Here we go yet again. The pop left from Aruma does get a takedown. It's up 4v4. Aruma, Twirly trying to get in there. Yamori realizing where Twirly's position. And Yamori's not done. Holding still towards doorway. There we go with the reload though. But Oriophilia's watching the angle. It's all left to Japeeps at the 1v3. Exactly what Scythe's been looking for. A confident push towards the side. Here we go yet again. Bob and we've been dodging the bullets. Yamori gets that kill and we're tied up.
They plant themselves here towards that Jenny. And that's their flag there, Jenny, and it's color red. Seeing red right now. NWJ looking their way. And they do not blink, at least not first. On the cross, though, here. They do a good job of keeping them at bay. Obviously, the clear was really clean. Updraft of Yamori, taking that space. Dart in as well with him, bypassing the utility. And now NWJ, they tie up the game with a good chance of taking the lead over.
Yeah, what a neck and neck fight. It's looking very impressive here for both OGX and Scythe. But Scythe's the one with something to prove versus OGX. His all-star map pick watching the dart right now. Broken by Sky Elise. But still, it's that mid that has been vied for so much of the time here in this map. Someone wants to have a picnic there towards courtyard. And let's see who can get that space first. Aldro now broken the turret, looking for any kind of contact. Both sides just so close to one another. With the creep up by NWJ moving towards A instead.
Well, this eco for OGX, one big point they could have is if they find an early pick off with the blades, but that's going to nullify it from being participant in this fight. A side is theirs. For the meantime, a scan will confirm only one. They don't really know how much are on there. The flank to come on in, and the thing is, because of the suppress, they can't really ask for the smoke just yet to try and turn this alarm bot off.
Yeah, just a little bit of time now. It's difficult here for Orangutan. They're on an eco state. The only one with firepower is Japips with the Guardian. A dart being primed, perhaps to get that intel. Aruma on the flank as well, but look who's ready. It's Sky Elise crouched. Perhaps, maybe dangerous in its center of mass. The blade storm's there too, and look, the overrun. Aruma with one, make that two. Main opened up here by Orangutan. Orophilia though holding now for the time being. And Yamori finding power towards Jenny as well. A one-way setup for Orophilia takes advantage straight for Oreo. But here comes Aruma and Twirly yet again. Twirly now looking to tango. Yamori has to deal with two angles. And Aruma, a solid surprise. It's 4 kills, but the time is the problem here for Orangutan. Not gonna happen. NWJ, they buy enough space and time for themselves. It's still the lead here for Scythe.
At least they make it expensive, and now NWJ, they don't have the best buy coming into this round, which makes it a lot more possible for OGX to just respond and turn this back against them. Operator out for Twirly, timeout called, lockdown available in the Hunter's Fury, which is going to be a big problem, I think, for NWJ in this round. They have so many ultimates that are incredibly high impact. All of their most high impact ones, actually, are available for this round. And unless something crazy happens from the Hunter's Fury of Marche, it's going to be a problem. Their attacking side, too, has been, to be fair, pretty swell in taking the site. It's about necessarily holding on in the post plan that has proven to be a problem for them, even if they took that last round.
And I'm just looking at Scythe right now. It seems like A looking so much more comfortable for them so far. They have a bit more space to work with. They had that extra bit of elevation. And perhaps this is going to be OGX now discussing where do we put more of our forces. An op is out though for Twirly. We've seen mid vied for again and again by both of these teams. And that can be the sudden game changer here in this round. Especially in this game if Twirly can start popping off and getting kills early on into these rounds.
Wow, he's making jokes.
I'm not
He
even.
said game changer. He
Yo,
did the word.
Don't do me like this. Don't do me like this. You can see how close this game already.
It's game
Don't
changing time.
Don't break my emotion, my friend. You can't do this to me.
Yes, it is
Futs.
a game of changer.
Okay. You're funny.
Thank you.
You should open up a comedy bar one day.
Maybe one day.
The Black and Blue Express.
It'll be my calling.
Maybe one day. Maybe true.
Well,
once you're done here in
you
esports.
can see Crescent. It's calling to her. She knows wine. It's a nice sip she wants to take off. Do they clear her out though?
Yeah, perhaps. Now, maybe, at least a bottle to celebrate on. Crescent's waiting, watching.
Oh,
Does she expect Casper to push from this? The paranoia being primed though, that's the problem.
you practically
Same
smell
piece
him.
for Aruma. It's gonna be so close. A line is drawn, and as soon as Scythe crosses, you know things are gonna go to a head-to-head. Timing is everything, and Casper,
Here it comes.
when does she let this rip? There's the push, and Aruma so shocked to begin with. The spray down into the takedown. It's 2 here. Make that 3. Orangutan at the ready. Casper still consistently fighting. And Oriophilia is the only one who gets any value for Scythe. In a blink of an eye, Scythe is just gone from the round. Oriophilia, what can she do? A 1v4. She
30
needs to
seconds
clutch
left.
this with an ace just to win.
Simple but effective. Trap set in place. Sprung. It finds its mark. One of the oldest plays in the book here in Valorant ever since its inception. Works out to beautiful standards. NWJ shocked really
10
at how
seconds left.
effective that turned things around. If you're Oriophilia here, just you gotta save this gun and live to dunk another day.
Well, 10-10 is the score. I'm just gonna ignore you from this point on. And Scythe, you can see the problem, right? As soon as they decided to go, they cut that noise. But players like Aruma, players like Casper, they thrive in those kind of pressure situations that can win those clutch moments. Aruma, a stellar display, not just to get one, right? But that second one, giving time for Casper to swing. From that point on, it was easy pickings for Orangutan, and those are the kind of setups that can suddenly surprise you if you're Scythe.
Well, I don't think it was necessarily a surprise, more just something you'd never really expect, but isn't that the definition of
Take
surprise
flight.
anyways?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what are you talking about? You speak English there, good sir?
I'm trying
but
to
maybe
say
it's the timing.
it's not
It's a timing.
it's not like a surprise, it's more like surprise. Curly
Yeah,
gets
they're
a one,
surprised.
but she can fall back.
She does retreat. Sky Elise, I believe, they were able to dodge it by crouching along the way. And now, the site looking to be taken here by NWJ. There's still pressure though, and Emmy reinforcing Twirly. Twirly with another one, the operator making magic happen so far. But is it gonna be enough? Advantage here for Orangutan. But NWJ, Scythe have made their way towards the site. 2 Sheriff in their clutches, the Hero Rifle in the hands of Yamori. He needs to come up big here if ever. The paranoia is perfect though. Not only that, we hear Emmy with the low command pulsing. Emmy with the clear, now down on the ground. Marsha on the board, sure. And she's the only one still standing. Twirly though, a new gun and a new kill for her. While they reboots Emmy along the way, this will be a new beginning and a new round 1 by OGX.
Great comeback here from OGX. I was trying to say it's less of a surprise,
Was that important?
more of a shock, if anything, or just, I guess, when you get startled is the right word here. Startled at the fact that something like that simple can work up against. You can tell they were looking to clear it a while ago, and same things here happen once more. Startled at the idea that OGX can just pull out the round like that. Obviously, they didn't have the best economy coming into the round, but they were hoping, I'm sure, to try and get something done, at least get more damage done. But now we're entering kind of like the final stages of this map. Every single piece of economic damage you can do from here on is going to be big. Mid push coming on in, but towards A, they're pushing. Twirly, though, keeps their heads spinning round and round. Oriophilia responds. The peeps going big. Marche answers back as well. It's a 2v3. They got the Hunter's Fury.
Strong anchor so far. Here comes the Blades 2 and Twirly. She has an angle to work with. The up traps also, if ever. Yamori though spotted or speed away. Emmy will be felled. It's 2v2 now. There you go with the up trap. Exactly what I'm talking about. The elevation to the isolation. The Alatron gonna be at the Blade 2. Gets the tag though. Knows exactly where Twirly is. But does she expect Aruma as well? Marche in cover. But there's just no way to hide from them. Orangutan put themselves on match points.
Recovery from Orangutan, just
Bomb grenade out.
gaining them round per round per round, back to back to back, and NWJ simply no response.
Match point.
10 to 12, and now broken economy at best. We've got some guns to work with, but it won't be ideal here, especially ability-wise, armor-wise.
Enemy remaining.
And Twirly just starting things off and putting one of the final nails in the coffin for the round. OGX here, looking to extend this into Pearl.
Yeah, this is looking very, very critical for Scythe. We've seen them, that they have this confidence to play Ascent now. But this is a team
my
that
way.
has beaten them before when they ran different compositions. And Orangutan putting themselves in the position to do so yet again. Twirly now, up in hand, watching out for top mid. Scythe here, a bit more scared than their approach. They want to play it safe to contest for mid. That's what the flash is all about, but Twirly not hit. There's the swing though, but it's wide enough to keep Crescents alive. The rest of NWJ following suit, looking to go for the contest. The scan's there, Twirly in a bit of trouble. Cloudburst to keep her safe, and it's NWJ taking mid instead.
Well, operator out here for Twirly, and you can tell they can really fear that looming threat over their heads. Lockdown here, potentially to be used. Ruva's got her own, but that's the only big ultimate they've got at all to even utilize. A main looking like a problem. Utility being trained down here towards that tree. Crescents has to be careful. Twirly connects. The shorty up close, long or
She's
far.
ready.
Doesn't matter. Twirly gets things going. Yamori gets the one. The swing though not working out. The lockdown in place. Things
down.
looking
Defender
disastrous
spawn.
right now
30
for
seconds left.
the Scythe.
Yeah, it's all falling apart here for Scythe, and even more so with the swing. Orangutan X, history's on their side, and history repeats itself. We go for the decider as OGX steals this map pick away. Just goes to show that this map draft, it's more of a suggestion rather than a conclusion, and it was neck to neck with Orangutan pull ahead at the end.
I mean, that was exactly what we wanted to see from Orangutan, right? They cannot, choose to go down without a fight here, especially knowing that we've seen them in the past make it all the way to the grand finals, make it all the way to kind of putting their name in that conversation as one of the best teams in APAC. And if that was going to falter here right now, what a shame it would have been for a team that really came together to try and prove something wrong, prove everybody wrong, and prove something, their own ideas right. For the meantime though, we're gonna have to throw it to our panel, because as amazing as that game was, they're even more amazing. We'll see you guys after the panel.
Thanks, gentlemen. Orangutan keeping their top 4 dreams afloat. It took 10 best of 3 series, Zach, but we finally did it. We're gonna get our map number 3. What a back and forth game. I mean, Scythe get 2, then OGX get 3, then Scythe get 2 again, and then OGX get 3. And when we get off that roller coaster, it's OGX at the top. I mean, honestly, this game looked like it could have gone either way.
It generally could have, and one of the things that I was extremely impressed by was that last timeout coming out of Orangutan. The most perfect timing. It came after Scythe were winning a couple of rounds in a row. It derailed their momentum completely, but more than that, they cracked the code, right? They figured out how exactly these guys were taking those sites. They put the pressure in those right spots, in particular that mid pressure that we saw in those last couple of rounds. Really, really nicely played by Orangutan, and of course, that final linchpin in their strategy. Twirly, absolutely phenomenal performance coming out of her. It's set at 334 ACS, I see. Yes, it is. 28 kills in this game so far. Absolutely insane. Far above everybody on that server.
Yeah, I mean, just clicking hits, popping off, Twirly. What? I
feel you.
Yeah, what a whirlwind, I mean, from this girl. I mean, we've been singing her praises enough, I think, for the last couple of days, but just I'm so glad that OGX have really settled into this composition, have found themselves in this map too, because it would have been such a huge shame if we had to say goodbye to them after that first map. So yeah, I'm hyped, I'm pumped.
Very much so. And of course, if you look at the
13 for
statistics,
skills in 10
Yeah.
rounds. Yo, and they lost.
I mean, the same happened on Bind as well. So it's just like
Yeah.
it's just a side swap kind of thing. Like, okay, you do this on Bind, I'll do this on Ascent. But what really interests me here is Orangutan's post plant setups. On their attacking side, while they had a pretty good start here, and they were able to really like set themselves up for success in that post plant situation. Those crossfires were really incredible, and they took a good amount of control once that site went down. So even with that spike going in, a lot of these rounds you saw the pushes coming in. In particular, I don't remember the exact round number, but in that first half, you saw that lockdown coming in from Scythe, and just Twirly being able to push in the counter lockdown as well coming out of Aruma. Really, really good utility usage. And even though all the players did end up going down except Casper, there was no time, and that seems to be the narrative of this entire game. They're just Orangutan playing time to perfection, enabling that they were able to keep their lead up. And even though Scythe, they were able to bounce back in that second half. Overall, Orangutan, they just kept their mental extremely resilient and were very, very good over the course of Ascent. But hey, this is Ascent. This is a map where we expect to see them kind of excel historically. I mean, look, after that 1-11 game, I feel like Orangutan and Ascent, they just have like this special relationship going on. Very good chemistry.
Is that relationship called PTSD by any chance?
For other teams, it's PTSD. For Orangutan, it's hoo hoo hoo. Like an evil laugh, but like a monkey doing it. I don't know how to make this sound.
What was that? The Orangutan of Wall Street? I was hearing Dax and Black and Blue talking about that. They're trying to make that sound that the orangutan makes. I don't know, man. I don't know if we want to go there. I don't think that's
I don't want to
that's
go
what
there.
the
I think
team
I'm good.
wants to. Yeah. Well, we do have map 3 coming up very shortly. It is going to be on Pearl. We'll talk more about that in just a second, guys. We're gonna go for a break before we come back with that map 3.
Last player standing. One enemy remains. 30 seconds left. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Enemy remaining. One enemy seconds left. One enemy remaining.
You were shot to death last night. Now you're lying in my bed. Must have been a dream last night, but I can hear what you're saying. You were shot to death last night. Where's my cup of coffee? I was dreaming something bad last night. Can't you hear what I'm saying? One gunshot, and I forgot to look at you, to look at you, to look at you, to look at you. 2 gunshots, and my thoughts. We're not with you, we're not with you, we're not with you, we're not with you. You were shot to death last night, and I thought of someone else. Didn't care about your life last night, at least less than about his. All our dreams were shot to death last night. I see the clock stand still. Nightmares at your heart sometimes, but this is unbelievable. One gunshot, and I forgot to look at you, to look at you, to look at you, to look at you. Two gunshots, and my thoughts. When not with you, when not with you, when not with you, when not with you.
Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down. Coming off the bench now. Waiting for this moment, swinging for the fence now. Coming off the bench now. Gotta get up, cause we about to get down.
Hello and welcome to the final map for today. It took us 3 days and 10 best of threes, but we finally here. It's the showdown throwdown between Scythe, NWJ, and Orangutan X. Both teams vying for that top 4 spot in Game Changers Open 3. We've seen the pendulum swing both ways, but who is going to come out on top? And whoa, I'm big. I think we've got a couple of tech issues on the side of Zach, but we're gonna sort that out real quick. And in the meantime, it's me here, guys. But yep, it's map number 3 between Scythe. Oh, she's back. Oh, thank God you're back. I was like, wait a minute.
No, all good.
Welcome back.
I think my stream froze, so I reloaded and I disappeared for a bit, but I have jumped back. I did enjoy seeing you in full resolution on my screen. So
Thank you.
That's a
But
plus
I
for
was
everybody
like-
watching.
I was like, is Zach really gonna miss map 3? I mean, come on, we've
No
been waiting
way.
3
No
days
way.
for it.
No way, indeed. And like you mentioned, our first map 3 after 4 days or 3 days, 3.5 days of Game Changers Open 3. It's all it takes, just 3 days to get to a map 3. But finally, we have a decider coming up here, which will determine which of these two teams will make that top 4, and unfortunately, who will be going home. And so far, it's been a very back and forth kind of situation between these teams. They've been able to steal each other's map picks, but with Pearl coming up, I really do not know how it's gonna go, because this is a map where Orangutan in the past have bullied, for lack of a better word, Scythe, but still, Scythe, they have a pretty good win percentage and they've improved a lot recently as well.
Yeah, I think from the information that we have, this is one of Scythe's most played maps after Haven, and they always do run the exact same composition, at least of late, on this map. They've always been running the Astra, Jet, Killjoy, Sky, as well as a Viper. I know map 2, we saw that mirror agent composition. However, this time around for OGX, I mean, they've played Pearl a bit here and there, not too much, especially compared to some of their other mainstay picks. Usually, I think they played it 10 times. They have a exactly 50% win rate. They've gone 5-5 on Pearl. And in terms of agent composition that we can expect from Orangutan X, they've actually been running a pretty mixed bag. I think mostly we can expect the Breach as well as Brimstone, but honestly, they've played a whole bunch of agents in the past. There's been Fade, Killjoy, Neon, Gecko, Jet, KO, even Chamber, if they want to run it back that long. So I don't know, man. It's map 3. It comes down to this. We'll see what they got.
I'm just here for Emmy's Phoenix. I'm just here for this Phoenix. We already saw it yesterday. We saw her with the Odin of all things, absolutely demolishing the opposition, and we're going to be possibly seeing that again, a repeat from their comp from yesterday. And for Scythe, they've gone with the double controller, although usually you see a Harbor and a Viper, but it's going to be the Astra coming in for Oreophilia instead. Once again, the battle of the Astras. Now, a little bit of fun trivia here. These two teams, they faced off in the Swiss stage, where Orangutan found a 2-0, and one of the maps that they played was Pearl. And you know what the score was, Jenny? It was a nice, shiny 13-3 for Orangutan. So,
Yep.
So
that was yep, that was it was 5 days ago, right? And like I don't know if all that much has changed in 5 days, but like I know like Scythe, they were trying to get Pearl out of the map rotation, right? They were like, oh, we don't want to play Pearl today of all days, but unfortunately they're deciding not is gonna be Pearl. They have to play it, and it's gonna come down to this.
Exactly. The agent comps haven't changed up too much either for either side, so I don't know how exactly this is gonna go. Of course, Scythe, to their credit, they've been able to go back to the drawing book, kind of come back on their own terms on previous maps that they have not had a good time with Orangutan against, but this time 13-3, and with it being so recent, it's gotta be some PTSD. Like you mentioned, the problem for Scythe is that Orangutan's map pool, it just seems to be a little bit deeper, even with the new people that have come into the team, and because of that, in particular, Emmy's Phoenix on this map is just so strong. The last time these two teams faced off, I went through the statistics. Emmy had a plus 15 KDA. Like, it's not even the number of kills, she just had a plus 15 KDA. She was able to just get that kill differential so high that it was just deletion of the opponent. So I don't know if we're gonna be seeing a repeat of that today. Orangutan probably are hoping to. Orangutan fans are probably hoping for that, but at least I hope we see a closer game, because if it goes to a map 3, it has to go all the way.
I mean, 13-3, it can't get worse than that, you know? If you're trying to delete that game. Well, yes, that's true. That is true. But I mean, you know, in general, if you're trying to keep that morale up, you're like, guys, look, like there's no way it can be worse than that day. We're just gonna all systems go. Talking about all systems go, guys, it is going to be Dax and Black and Blue. Guys, we're going over to you.
Come on, give us the green light, because we're finally getting a third map this open. I can't believe it took this long to get a decider, and we're in for a treat, because not only has been neck and neck between Orangutan X as well as Scythe NWJ, but it's also an elimination match. We are here though on Pearl. One point I want to make though before we really start. Zach mentioned it perfectly. The map pool of Orangutan X has widened immensely, and one map pick that they banned all the time back in Open 2. Pearl is something they're happy to let through now.
I mean, the last time they did face against each other, as Zach also talked about a while ago, it was a pretty one-sided show in favor of Orangutan, so it's not really boding too well just yet if you are a Scythe fan. But, I mean, we look at Orangutan and the old problems that used to haunt them, who knows, they might come back in the most inopportune moment for them. Both of these teams sticking with a comp that we've kind of come accustomed to at this point. They love to run that Phoenix nowadays, and it's been a lot more effective, I think, for them compared to the previous composition that had that fade in it, that slotted that other initiator out. And now with this, with what they got going, is it the right decision to let this one through, seeing it how it has historically have had problems for either side in the past?
I mean, come on, look at the Orangutan X. First name Emmy, last name Spacemaker. I'm making it up right now because we've seen every single time you have Emmy leading the charge, whether it be attack or the defense, it's something, a partition of the map that Orangutan can capitalize on. On the other side, though, Scythe have made that adjustment to move from the harbor before to the astronaut or Euphilia. It didn't work for them last time around. The panel mentioned it, 3-13 in favor of Orangutan X instead. Now as Scythe starts on the attack, let's see if they've adjusted accordingly from the Swiss stage to get the revenge, or will Orangutan continue on their streak of dominance versus NWJ Scythe. We begin with the Trailblazer, looking for the clear, a push from Orangutan, though towards B instead.
Well, you mentioned it, that B-lane push, trying to be attempted early on, but to pivot suddenly towards A. Utility on the killjoy here from Aruma, set up in place, Stars as well. It's going to be making it a lot more hazardous, but nobody really within sight to actually get a punish off of it, so the plant, it will go down.
Yeah, Orangutan will see
Spike
control
planted.
as they went for the push from Link. Instead, they will regroup here by Flower, maybe take an angle towards Secret as well. Some lanes to work with, but Scythe, different plan. Play utility, look for the flash potential. And Sky Elise, alongside Yamori. Flank potential perhaps to play in the waterways. Crescent's watching out for mid as well, so Scythe's so meticulous, keeping these corners cleared as much as possible. But now we get the connection and the action. Hot hands into play, and Orangutan will swing towards Link. A clash here in close quarters, and Sky Elise though who finds two. Emmy trying to go for the defuse, but such a bother with the star. The curveball's there, and here comes a clear from Orangutan. Time running out, and looks on the inside. Orophilia! Knife out even!
How dare you!
Slashes at Casper, who survives, but time has run out, and this is a dub for Scythe anyway.
You dare try and stick me with the pointy end, Orophilia says, but, well, she still comes out of it on top. Even though she doesn't get the kill on Casper. I mean, it's a time that really became the big problem here. They had to push out towards Art. That plant is really problematic because it's exposed to both A main and Art, and if you aren't able to take both of that away, it becomes a lot more difficult to try and deny, or rather to stick the plant. They did have a smoke on it, but you'd know as soon as they try and stuck it, the rest of the post-plant hold will just simply push forward and try and get within the sight of it.
So there you go, Valorant Halloween special, the slasher in the smoke, starring Orophilia.
The hash
In the end, though,
bashing,
that-
the lash dashing,
Sure, go ahead.
the
You
crash
memorize it?
bashing. And I'm just making
Whoa,
up
that's
words.
That's a different game already.
Yeah.
But you know, one thing Scythe's been very effective at, they're so strong on the stall. No matter what, we've seen these situations where Orangutan can't get the defuse in time. There's the kill from Sky Elise to begin with hot hands into play, and Emmy burns Marsha into a crisp. It's 4v3 though. They spot out Emmy yet again on the high ground. Poison Cloud gonna get lobbed her way as well to remove an angle to utilize. Push for the cover, the spam's there, but Crescent gets the spike going. 4v3 for now. Guiding Light the call to allow OGX to push. Crescent's blinded, struggling to find any footing there. Gets away with 5 HP on her life. Casper now looking for a target. Third spot for Yamori. The same kind of case. Orophilia playing Protector, keeping her teammate alive, but Jump Pips will trade back. It's not enough though. NWJ with the second.
Complete mission as
Quick round there. Once it did come down to the meat of it, but still some damage done by OGX on the defense right now. I want to see if they're going to use this Phoenix as more of kind of like a punish type agent where they let them try and come on in, quick curveball, swing off of it, or if it's something they're going to try and be more active with it. They push forward. Seems like the latter option is what they're going to opt for here. You can see them poising up for that A main, but it's mid that NWJ seemed a bit more interested in.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern right now for Orangutan, They only have that single controller compared to the two that Scythe has. So more ways for Crescents and Orphelia to manipulate the angles that they would like. You mentioned it though. Between Emmy and Japeeps, there's a lot of close clash potential for Orangutan X. And Emmy, she doesn't disappoint in those angles. The run it back is ready too. And as Scythe tried to clear it towards Link, still OGX keeping their defenses at the ready, sticking around the sites instead.
They got that run it back on Emmy. If it ever does come to a retake situation, which it very well could possibly be. Majority of the defense right now in OGX are towards the A side, and everybody here in NWJ looking to barrel down towards B. Twirly finds and spots him out. You can hear them coming as well. It should be a planned attempt very soon. Well, though, keeping him at bay, or at least delaying them for the meantime. The plant will go down.
Like that, here we go with Marship putting the plant down too, but Emmy with the spam to get that kill. The hot hands yet again providing value. The spike is down though, the run it back is there. Orangutan knows this is a full commit. Full steam ahead, Emmy unrelenting with the push. Orphelia towards the corner, Sky Elise, a plan with the lineups. But she's all alone now in a 1v4 slate. Emmy already looking for the defuse, and now the swarm's broken. It's difficult here. Well, Emmy, can she actually go for the fight? Sky Elise instead with two!
Nah.
The stall was there apparently. Emmy in cover, and this should be Orangutans to win. A great effort from Sky Elise, but it's not enough. Orangutan will take
Yeah,
it.
it's planted too deep for them to actually get it. For her to actually get an angle on there, Sky Elise. So, luckily for her, she's able to get damage. Saves up the Bulldog. Not that it's the best thing to take into another round, but at least they do get something out of it here. But I'm very curious on how you look at NWJ, and they have many tools that just, even though they've been, I guess, surprising already and what they were able to do last time around, the fact that they're still continuing this run this deep, it's very impressive, I think, so far. In the same way that Deviant and Topaz, although they're less known a while ago, were able to get themselves as far. For Scythe to once again improve and reiterate on what was working last time around, it's very, I think, it's a hopeful sign for the scene that teams like this, who are apart from maybe the super teams that ones might look at, that they still have these type of performances that can stand toe-to-toe with some of the best.
No, I agree with you because we've seen Orangutan make it to the finals before. We know the caliber of play of Araku Kakia. We know how exceptional Sapphire has been to contend, of course, with the Giants at their SMG. But what about Scythe? Where are they positioned really in the Game Changers ecosystem? They're looking to prove it with these kind of matchups that they belong at the top caliber as well. They've been very consistent in their open run, always a contender, but they haven't found that final form compared to the other teams. From what we've seen. So 2-1 standing. Rifles are out here for NWJ. They play the defaults, look to go for mid. A safer protocol right now since they expect Emmy and Twirly. Something has to be up when they're together.
Well, certainly here, when you are kind of cutting the noise, it can make OGX overthink on where this could come. You're kind of expecting almost like a fake, like they're going to suddenly pivot towards A. Destroying that B link. It's all according to plan here for OGX. They know that they have no real intention of kind of holding down towards connector. So they have utility passively to gather information either towards B link or art. They do both. They get both rid of. And now this is where the guessing game of OGX comes into play.
Yeah, Nano Swarm popped though. At least. Maybe for OGX, they have an inkling of what's going on. They've given up mid. They know that Scythe can cross from that angle. And already you can see
30
Twirly
seconds
alongside Emmy. Looking to set up a bit of a crossfire, perhaps prepared for the link take itself.
Poison's
Twirly
gone.
now on the inside, surprising Crescents with the timing. Maybe another one dashes past, realizes their contact coming from both sides. Emmy with a find on the Yamori and OGX. They thrive in these situations. Chaos caused by Emmy and Twirly. Aruma with a helping hand too. And suddenly it's all tied up. Well done by OGX.
Yeah, the duelists here going big. Especially there, Twirly, the fact that she was able to stay alive after that first pick, and she almost was dead to rights, but then Emmy comes in at the perfect opportune moment, swings and gets a kill before it would have been a trade, but actually just gets the save instead. And NWJ, instead, they're the ones put in a difficult spot right now. OGX, you can tell that they're starting to get a read on what NWJ have been doing, especially when it comes to guessing where they're going to go from connector. Because if NWJ, if their last presence made known is towards A, they're going to go B, and vice versa. And that's a pattern that OGX are starting to, I guess, recognize now.
Yeah, they're realizing where these rotations are headed towards too. And OGX, very meticulous actually, of the space that they seed towards Scythe. Keeping tabs of these kind of angles. Sky at least though, a hero rifle to contend with any kind of aggression. The plan right now for Scythe, perhaps catch out if ever Emmy or Twirly do over-aggress and pick up the rifle by stacking on up. OGX, they realize that very quickly actually. They back away towards the site. Casper, a sheriff only. Apparently she's looking to play the eco in this situation. Confidence now here from OGX.
I've got
Flower
your tray.
holding Japips as she goes for the flash, but Seekers are there to grab it well, keeping them at bay. And Casper sets it up nicely for now. Yamori's there too, looking for this to have another gravity well. These Seekers are struggling to cross to the opposite end. But Spike's planted. Casper now having to see that control. The tips Aruma going to be there as well. The first wing comes, and here comes OGX. But Crescent is ready for it. 2 down, courtesy of Crescent. Aruma at least clashing back. Suddenly the tandem now from Art, perhaps ready to paint a picture. Skyly still finding Twirly. Here comes Emmy, and down goes Mori. It's dangerous though. Skyly! There she go. Realizes where Emmy's coming from, and not just once but twice. Emmy will fall. Aruma's the only one left. It's 2v1, and here comes trouble. Aruma with a wall bang. Gone now is Crescent. It's 1v1 as time's running out. There's the cover.
She can stick.
Aruma staying safe. She can stick. Skyly needs to push. It's only a matter of time, and Aruma will get it done. A clutch in the end as OGX gets away with it.
She thought it was a fake, but she could see. She should have been aware that there was no chance of the fake there. Had to stick, otherwise it wouldn't have been time. Maybe for the half, but that was it. When the stick did come, it came so close. Skyly, she got the first kill on the Phoenix that would have been able to secure the round, but off the fallback there, Crescent still somehow found. It's an even better clutch though, coming from Aruma in such a difficult spot. Time ticking down and the pressure surmounting. She does not fold.
Yeah, it feels unfortunate for Scythe because that was already a stellar eco round. Could have been better with the dub itself. Big heads up there from Sky Elise versus Emmy, but not onto the objective. Those are the kind of moments where the Scythe just need a bit more of that refinement to really play to the caliber of some of the other competition here in the APAC Game Changer scene. But we're not done, and the rifles are out. Scythe looking for a bit of redemption. They push now towards mid, implying presence on both sides. Getting Art, getting the doors as well. The Trailblazer looking to make a bit more space. We've seen this from Scythe. If they open up these angles, black and blue, they can play the connector as well and keep OGX guessing.
Well, OGX, it's a very telltale sign that they're starting to feel it when they can turn individually rounds around like that. Lockdown placed here by NWJ Scythe. And even with this, OGX just comfortable to wait on the wings and try and find a punish.
Yeah, they're so ready for it. They have the link under control. Twirly's there
30
if ever.
seconds left.
The Cloud for Soulful cover. At least Imori understanding the situation, but the floor is lava, and Marja is in trouble. Here comes Emmy as per usual. Twirly 2 charging on in, and aggression is the stance of OGX truly. Ready now to go for the commit yet again. Casper thriving in that chaos, looking to go for the fight. The smokes are out and the blades are there too. Sharp from Twirly. Crescents with the lineup though. The lockdown making space. Sky at least kept at bay. Aruma though getting halfway on the defuse. Can NWJ buy enough time? Aruma sticking it, and here we go yet again. Before the fight's even over, OGX has already won 4-2 now.
Yeah, comfortability, we talked about it. And it's just the truest thing here for OGX. They don't crumble to the pressure. They know that even with OGX starting to barrel down on them, rather with NWJ starting to barrel down on them with a lockdown in place, they're composed in those situations. And just decision making as a whole is super on point. Forces a timeout out of Scythe NWJ here. And if you're OGX, it has to feel good to keep that momentum for map number 2 directly here to the third.
Yeah, and you can see that they're capitalizing on their composition so well. They make these scenarios where Emmy and Japeeps can get absolute flash value. Emmy has no fear. She is one of the most courageous players I've seen this Open. And there were those inklings back in Open 2. But still, she was the newer player onto the roster. We're still trying to feel out how they would work out with her leading that charge. But here at Open 3, the full send, and honestly, the full confidence from Orangutan X. This is why they have this front line right now, because they're so confident to push accordingly.
Well, confidence is key, they say. Fake it till you make it.
Absolutely.
And
that's what we do. I'm happy to be here.
aren't we all?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Big Scythe. Rather, sorry. NWJ. Scythe NWJ.
Oh, get
no,
that name right, my friend.
My bad. They're for sure not happy to be in this spot right now. Flashes on that counter. Emmy being pulled and
Beautiful.
timing just not working out. So Yamori finding the kill on there. Not sure what happened entirely. She was even in the fight.
She got pulsed. She got hit by the stun. And truth be told, that's exactly what Scythe had been looking to set up for the past few rounds. Finally, OGX decide to play aggressive. And exactly what happens, they get punished because of it. Up in the hands though of Twirly. I think it's a very interesting position she's playing on to connect it right now. Not the biggest margin of error, but at least Casper's there to help out if ever. Now rotating towards Flower here, still expecting the A main push. You have Aruma as well. Just holding on to double doors right now, so this will be more so a commit expected here by Orangutan. Casper now, she'll have to deal with 3 in terms of this push. Flash is there, the snake bite 2. Operator brings out, doesn't get connection. Yamori instead leading the charge. The poison cloud is there as well. And overall, Scythe giving themselves some space to work with. The Viper Spin is there, and suddenly Twirly just deciding to push. Goodbye to the pit, and hello to OGX. They're ready for action yet again. 3v2, and Aruma! From the back, they're all lined up. Orangutan again and again, preventing Scythe from getting success here on A.
He's beating them down in NWJ. They had the player advantage there, but obviously weapons better for OGX, coordination as well, and cohesion. Looking super smooth. And no fear at all on Twirly. Pulls out the Shardy and keeps things going. Nice pickoff. Let's look at that. Runs it down. Stubs him in the face with it. And the rest of OGX simply follow up, taking her lead as an example of how to continue.
Yeah, just Orangutan X. Pardon the term, but they've gone ape here. They just go in, man. They just decide that we can fight, we can contest this. And even if they lose Emmy, Twirly just willing to even lose the operator in that regard. Such a stellar pick onto Crescents, preventing Scythe from having any kind of reprieve. And you can feel that this map is already so suffocating for Scythe NWJ. A strong beginning by Emmy, and Parford, of course, from how this has been going so far.
Big pickoff to start things here. OGX already in a favorable spot. Operators still as well for Twirly, and that's going to be an even bigger problem here for NWJ, who are currently just trying to crawl their way, find an opening. We can see Crescents here looking to attempt in a B-link. It's art that they dog out, but as soon as she peeks this, oh, they could be, no, never mind. Twirly had the angle marked, but now she's let go of it. Doesn't find the kill. Crescents finds safety in the nick of time.
Yeah, couldn't find the moment there. Opportune for Scythe, but safety is the keyword right now that Scythe NWJ is looking for. And OGX, yet again, looking to prevent that on that A site. We know that these A plants have gone so awry here for Scythe.
30
Even
seconds
if
left.
they get the spike planted. Cosmic Divide though to mask those intentions. But Casper, I like this a lot from Orangutan. Smart position to play towards dugout. She'll hear those audio cues. The Trailblazers there too, but the Hot Hands don't get connection. Instead, Emmy now with the charge. Martian will fall. It's 5v3 immediately. OGX on the other side of the wall, but they will dissipate too.
Huge.
Aruma also a threat from the other side. It's always OGX everywhere and anywhere. Scythe kept guessing. Emmy already on the defuse. The swing comes from Twirly. Knows exactly the line to hold. And one more chance and one more deny. Orangutan defused yet again.
Perfection here from OGX. And NWJ looking lost in the round. They get the plant off, but the early pick already kind of sealed their fate. Cosmic Divide obviously makes things more difficult, and then the fact that Aruma once more from the same angle as a previous round, just causes huge problems for the post-plant hold here for NWJ. So many ideas that NWJ are trying to pull off here. Like, they go for this kind of art-favored plant, but then OGX just know how to shut it down. The catch as well from Emmy to shut down Oreophilia, trying to retreat. NWJ just, they look suffocated right now.
Go again. Main contest. The flash is there, but this is better for Oreophilia. A dry peek won't work for OGX, but Caster clashing. It's not enough to get more, but 2 is already a stellar number. 3v2 situation though. Finally, we get Scythe with the advantage. The punish comes on in, courtesy of Scythe. We've been talking about it all throughout this game. Those are the moments where Scythe can come out ahead. Twirly Aruma stacking right now, playing towards Connector. Marsha watching towards Secret. At least there's one putting presence on the site. Aruma clearing out the corners. It's still the threat of Sky at least that you have to watch out for. The Nanoswarm is primed. A second one is ready to be tossed as well. Twirly, danger close with the operator. Thinking about the rifle, goes for the flick, doesn't get it. The star's there too, and perhaps OGX will have to give this up. Finally, NWJ gets success on A side here, Black and
Yeah,
Blue.
they know that's unwinnable. The star itself is already a looming sign to let you know that there's no way unless they stick the defuse early. But at that point, NWJ respond. Such defining force. Oreophilia finding double going her way. Casper as well, but the trade outs work in NWJ's favor. And for Scythe here, slowly but surely has to be the pace they play these next few rounds of the half to at least try and equalize up this attacking side.
And this time, Orangutan X didn't get away with it. They noticed that perhaps we can change that pace, but you see the initial protocol of Scythe, right? They're ready to stack up just to catch any kind of aggression. This time around, as soon as they see any presence towards A main, they back off, back to the site, and back to what works here.
Here they go now. Maybe trying to play further back, as you said, more conservatively, more defensively, importantly, is what's been working for OGX and will continue to work. Flash confirms that presence, confirms. There might just be a bit more looming over the horizon. Orb taken out, won't really get them too much. Single one away, actually double still from Cosmic Divide, but NWJ kind of playing with their tempo here. They don't pivot, they don't rotate to the opposite side, which they've normally been doing after making contact in noise like this.
Yeah, but the thing is, Japips gets a new flash ready because of that initial stall. Yamori though with one, Casper's there for the trade, but Crescent again answering back, so Scythe proving they have the firepower to contend with Orangutan. Scythe's taken, the plant will go down soon,
Spike
and
planted.
Aruma yet again looking to be the critical one here. Finding that moment perhaps if Emmy can cause a big distraction. The fire is lit. Will the furnace feed them? Aruma waiting for the timing, but the swing from Oreophilia is even better. Emmy gets one for her troubles. A stellar shot from Twirly too. It's 2v2, but Marcha marches on. Goodbye to Emmy. All left to Twirly now. Low HP on Oreophilia. If you can get Marcha first, it's a possibility. Looking for the angle, but Oreophilia a step quicker. NWJ look to string along some rounds.
That's big from Oreophilia considering how much punishment she took in that fight. The 2 kills that she found were huge as well. Aruma, you know, if she just cleared out that default with a Nanoswarm, she very well could have. You can see her thinking about it, but I think trying to save it for a more opportune moment definitely would have taken Oreophilia down as she was a single tick away. But NWJ, as I talked about, they changed up their pace there. We've seen them, as I pointed out a while ago earlier in the half, where they would make contact maybe towards A or B, whichever side it was, and then whatever the last point of contact is where they're not going to go. This time around, they do the opposite of that. Make contact in A, cut noise, wait a bit, and as the defense is rotating away, once more expecting the rotate from NWJ Scythe, that's when they hit, and that's when they catch them off guard to take the space, and you can see them when they are able to take that space with a poison cloud of Crescents all the way deep into that dugout. It allows them a lot more comfortability to have these off angles and have these plays where OGX just don't expect.
Yeah, and they're just punished accordingly, right? I think the concern here for OGX, when you have such a high octane playstyle that can come out of nowhere in sudden motion, there's the heat retention, and then suddenly it gets cooled off by your opponent understanding what angles you're gonna take. And Scythe is a team strong at punishing those kind of situations. Stellar at clashing too. And for now, as Yamori burns the dash to take space quickly, Orangutan X going for a different kind of push instead. They control Art, vying for mid if anyone dares peek from the initial middle. Still though, Scythe now regrouping. They're stacking up yet again, and this has been their strong suit. Just put all their forces on one side and look to see if anyone dares peek them.
Well, so far, once we again, NWJ here cutting noise. Flash doesn't confirm anything towards mid. Trailblazer making noise here towards B. It's a fake out of the highest proportions. They're all, for the most part, going towards A, and OGX have bitten the bait. Hook, line, and sinker.
Look, it's been conditioning so far. It's always been A. Eventually, they'll go B, right, gals? Apparently not. A still looking to be the hit. Casper, though, just steadfast on holding down on the site. And as soon as they realize the Cloudburst is there, Japips will also look to reinforce at least. OGX, they're not caught as much napping as you'd expect. They're there to perhaps contest in closer angles. But NWJ get a safe plan so far. Trailblazer now scouting out as much as possible. Do they notice that the jet is there? Yamori might have been spotted. Abby, though, leaping in and still gets away with it. Good start here for OGX. Perhaps March is the one to watch out for, but Emmy burns Oriophilia because of the spray. March now swinging on forward. Aruma, she's gotten halfway, lets it go, but OGX providing cover. Crescent's also in the chaos, but twirly now. The tango yet again. 3 for her, and 3-round gap now made by OGX.
That is super smart of OGX. A lot of times in that type of case, you'd see teams kind of with a cosmic divide, right? Try and place it towards the back site. Instead, cut off that flower, cut off that dugout, but OGX realized, hey, it's only blocking Art, which means for a plant that's supposed to be open to both Art and A main, we only have to worry about A main right now. As long as we watch the Cosmic Divide and nobody pushes out of it, we're safe. And that it was. The smoke there, keeping Twirly alive off the Cloudburst, and look at this fight coming up here.
Now they're just getting ready here. Such a big commit, honestly, from OGX. 4 members going for it. And if only Scythe realized the situation a bit more clearly. They now creep on over towards B. Finally, we see a B take after how many rounds in a row that we went A. And Arum is the one looking to hold the fort down. Still a regroup necessary for Scythe. They want to lead this push, courtesy of Yamori as well as Marche. The Trailblazers there to scout out the closer angles. Because of it though, immediately Casper setting up the stars. Quicker reactions here from OGX. Are they that prepared though? That's the question. Communication is key. Aruma needs to spot this push as soon as possible to get value from the Astra. The gravity well is there though. Nana Swarm burning Yamori down. And Japips will be able to inflict enough damage to get that kill. Viper Spit online and set. NWJ looking for a reprieve, but yet again, the spray down from OGX. No matter what, they're unrelenting, putting the pressure. The Seekers are there too. Emmy on top of things. Yet again, the leap of fate, but Arum is the one who will control this destiny. OGX looking for one last target. Crescent in home territory here on the pit. Through the flame she goes, but there's no escaping because it's Orangutan ready for anything. 8-4 to end it.
Yeah, Orangutan knew that the hard hit is going to be a problem due to the ultimates and the utility they've got here from Scythe NWJ. And so what do? They give up the site entirely. They play for that retake instead, but even before that, they find some picks off, getting punishes on the retreat from the plant. It starts as a 3v5 and ends quick and clean. But for the meantime, the cleanest of all our friends is Zach and Jenny. How you guys doing?
Nice. Thanks for using my real name right there, Nico. So, starting off 2-2 to 6-2 at one point to 8-4 to close off that first half. Zach, I mean, NWJ looked a bit lost, especially in the front part of that first half, but managed to turn things around. How did they do that?
I think that NWJ, especially they didn't really take a ideal timeout, but they were able to bounce back into it. They realized that one of the biggest mistakes they were doing is planting the spike in really messed up places where Orangutan could just hide behind something and defuse it. We saw that happen like 3 times before they finally learned their lesson. But after that, it was kind of smooth sailing. You did see some better crossfire setup as well during that post-plant situation, and they made it a little bit more difficult for Orangutan to really retake. Also, I think towards those last couple of rounds, it was just a bit of better ult management coming out of Scythe. But for Orangutan's side, they looked incredible on this map. It is, of course, somewhere that they felt very confident before. We highlighted Emmy in particular before we started this, and halfway through, I gotta say, Emmy, man, it's just the Emmy show. So Emmy and Twirly, they're taking this home for Orangutan. Just so many impact frags, and in those retake situations in particular, Emmy's utility, it's doing so much damage.
Yeah, talking about that, right? Going into the switch, it's gonna be Viper for Crescents on defense on second half, Emmy's Phoenix going on the attack. How do we feel about this?
Run it back, run it back, run it back. The Phoenix ult is only 6 orbs. They have it online every 2 or 3 rounds, so Emmy's just gonna be running it back. And of course, that's only Emmy, right? You also have Twirly to contend with. So unless Scythe can figure out a way to take care of these star duelists for Orangutan, we might be looking at OG's victory today.
Whew. Well, 8 and 4. I don't want to say a win is on the cards just yet, but Dax and Black and Blue, guys, take it away.
Well, the double duelists are happy to go for that attacking side. Orangutan X has been very aggressive, so I don't know. The cards are looking to be flipped on the side of OGX. It's up to Scythe to just go for the all-in instead and change those odds. We are back here, though, into the second half. Does Orangutan X continue on and look to go for the reverse sweep, or will Scythe answer back here on the pistol? Very curious, though, what Scythe can do by this point, because momentum has been heavily in favor of Orangutan so far, Black and Blue.
I mean, that's an understatement. OGX just, they turn these rounds around where it's looking super well for Scythe NWJ, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, out of the woodwork, they just come out with a round and simply overwhelm and stop any attempt that NWJ had on the attacking side. But now defense here for Scythe, and they have to be ironclad. They have to be strong as well in holding down these sites, because, you know, OGX, with that Phoenix leading a charge on Emmy and Twirly as well to follow up right behind, it's going to be a big problem to keep him at bay.
Yeah, and the panel mentioned it. Orb control is paramount right now. If you give Emmy the setup and the run it back as soon as possible, she'll be able to make that space, as we've seen really the linchpin of the OGX attacking stratagems. Still though, Yamori now, a few jump peeks here and there, looking to provide that initial incel. Eventually, they'll notice the situation. Yamori, though, getting tagged for her troubles. There's the first orb already being taken by Emmy. So, step 1 completed here by OGX. Step 2 to make their way towards the sites. And it seems like for Scythe, they'll go for the retake instead. The problem is, a flank coming from Aruma, perhaps, on the cards as well.
See if it works out here. Oh, they know where she is. Snakebite stops them from getting anything done here on the plant itself. And NWJ Scythe getting away for free with these kills. Or you feel trying to get the one, but Casper responds. Not going to let them go unchecked. The Heaven's going to be a threat, and Aruma shuts that idea down.
Nice timing there from Scythe, but in the end, Orangutan equalized 3v3 for now. Now the spark gets broken in time. Presence taking a bit of damage because of it. Spikes planted, space made. And Orangutan X, he played from different corners so far. Link even being held here by Casper. Sky Elise needs to check that out. Marshall with one with the room with the trade. Here comes Sky Elise yet again from the elevated angle. It's 2v1 now. Taps to come, but Aruma does it better. Sky Elise though, in the Battle of Killjoy, she'll stand. And NWJ, a much needed pistol win to begin the second half.
And all the utility's still there as well. They didn't have to be. Scythe finally respond, especially in a big swing round that can, you know, really set the pace for the next part of this half. You get that pistol round, you build up economy earlier, you start gaining some rounds back, and the denial of the plant there is really what kind of screwed with the plans of OGX. They thought they were about to get the plant down, but it all just came and crumbled at NWJ's hands.
Yeah, the thing is, Orangutan X will have the space, yes. But if you catch them on the off timing, especially when they're putting that spike down, then that's their opportunity if you're Scythe NWJ, and they realize that they're willing to go for those kind of swings. They have the players who can actually play off aggressive angles. And as of right now, Orufilya is one of them to watch out for. A stellar series so far. A stellar tournament, honestly. It is going to be Art, though, taken here by OGX. Spike now regrouping as Japips will bring in the rear. Of course, who will lead the charge? You know her name, and you know it's Emmy. Dueling with the turret, the smoke in the way. Orangutan kept the bait for the time being.
Well, they're all within the sight there, NWJ, so they want to fight for it. OGX smartly enough, turn, heal, and start to walk the other way. A side would have been definitely difficult for them to take. B, not going to be that much easier, but at least going to try and circle back around. This keeps them guessing. Flash here on towards connector doesn't confirm much for NWJ, so they're still kept guessing. If Twirly can find the angle, it's going to be great, but that turret, it's going to give them away before they possibly get to that position.
Yeah, well, Scythe still sticking around on the site, though. You mentioned it. They're going to want to
30
contest
seconds left.
anyway. And as soon as OGX decide to get in there, you can see already the turret being a bother. From that point on, that's the go signal from Scythe. Sky Elise with the first early, though. Sharp shot with the Sheriff. Ruma, too, with the Frenzy. At least the value with the pistols. But is it going to be enough? Ghost brought on out. Here comes Casper. Classic enough to get one. But it's not going to be enough versus the members of Scythe. 8-6 as Scythe rally.
Scythe, we talked about it. They're starting to really gain themselves back. Although now in the bonus, not the most favorable one, but I don't doubt that they're always going to be formidable in these situations. But the real problem here for NWJ is if they do kind of set this tone of them always being passive or them always playing back, it could just allow OGX to understand and read the defense a lot more often. It's a sign to them that, hey guys, connector is free for us, and if they always take that without much of a resistance from NWJ, it could mean bad things later on.
Yeah, they're gonna need to cross through, though, where Orophilia has been watching the link angle. Still, they decided to utilize that smoke to get there in the first place. So at least right now, Scythe knows that there's a bit more presence from OGX than expected. Orophilia doesn't want to peek the angle. It's dangerous as Emmy and Twirly are nearby and ready with their guns. A Spectre in the hands of Orophilia. She does back away, though. Doesn't want to contest versus potential curveballs coming her way. Smoke's being set on up as well. Emmy now with Twirly. The dash to begin the fight. Orophilia has the angle. But, well, it's a situation, not a connection. It's Twirly and Emmy on the board. OGX with 2 so far. This is B-side taken by them.
That should have been the connection here for Orophilia, but could not find the shots to land. The Sky Elise one away from the lockdown. She gets a pick off, but I wouldn't wager they're going to try and use it and risk it for this round. Way too much pressure on towards the main entrance, the main choke of this fight. Both of them trapped there towards CT. They know this fight is done. Flash out, perfect timing. Ruma follows up. It's all on Orophilia, who can't do much. As Curly gets around, OGX get their 9.
The hope turns into heartbreak so quickly. Unfortunate there for Orophilia, because that could have been the pivot point for Scythe NWJ because of the free clear courtesy of Twirly. They get towards back holes. Emmy also moving around the site. And from that point on, it's standard fanfare for Orangutan X. Run it back now available. Rifles are there too still for OGX, as that round was relatively clean. And this is gonna be such a make or break moment for either side. Whoever loses this, well, the money's not going to be the best, and speaking of, it's even worse for Scythe here.
Lockdown is available for Sky Elise, though, but run it back for Emmy. They can use this to try and take Elise down before that even comes into play, before that even turns into a factor of this round. That could be big here for OGX to gain that momentum. Turret in place, lots of utility, but as it's a run it back, he's not going to be dissuaded just yet off the Phoenix. Crescent shuts it down. They're still holding on to the site, but they're doing a good job of really dissuading them from continuing forward.
Interesting, though. We get the lockdown, but they don't choose to actually push the issue. Instead, they look for the rotation as Casper creeps on towards mid. Into the link she goes as well. The one to watch out for, Orophilia, looking now to just avenge that last round. Shake off some of the misses. Look for the hits instead, especially as the cross comes from long. Smoke is there, though, and Orophilia, does she dare peek this in the first place? Early now, leading on top of the elevated angle. Mori though finds her out. There's the advantage now for Scythe. Japip's also 2 HP. Looking a little bit lackluster on the terms of the health department. Emmy, a different plan. Lurking now, looking to clear, looking to help out with Casper. A corner needs to be checked here. Scythe, do they dare peek this? The curveball's there. The cloud burst is the answer. Aruma though, finding Crescent. It's gonna be a push and Casper's in the corner! No chance whatsoever! Casper is clutch! 10-6 as OGX gets it again.
We saw that happen yesterday as well, where they don't clear out that corner and the Astra just rains havoc. In this case, it's Casper. Have to be aware of that angle. It's a common one played, and they could have used a bit more utility to try and find out where it could be. They pushed deep and forward. I'm not sure what exactly, I guess, sent them to do that, but OGX, it's a quick and easy punish. Not even a punish, just delivering what's meant to be.
Just so reliable though. Again and again, we've said this about Orangutan X. They will always be a contender as long as Casper is there to keep up with her kind of pace. She had, honestly, a rocky first game, if I remember correctly. Stepped up more so in the previous series that they've had. And as of right now, OGX absolutely full octane with the way that they're playing. 10-6. And that round was their potential to snowball. You can see the economy situation right now. Eco state for Scythe. The jump peak already tagged up as the Amori has to retreat. B looking very likely to be taken for free. Maybe Amori can be the poison pill here. A chance with the classic. The dash is being primed. And you look at her situation. 1 kill can provide the Blade Storm. Can she get it in time to contend? Blaze Waldo providing cover. Emmy moving into halls alongside the Trailblazer. So it's clear so far for OGX, and Nana Swarm's there. The guy in light 2. They spot on Crescents though. A big pick to begin with. Plant goes down, it's 5v4. Yamori, do you dare swing it? No, the smoke is gone, and Casper will decide for you. Critical yet again, courtesy of OGX. A 5v3 situation, so hard to find the angle here for the defense.
It's gonna be difficult for sure. I mean, NWJ don't have really much to try and throw into the pot here. Marche gets the one, but oh, okay, a double. We see you. We see you trying to make something happen here, but it's all too little, too late. OGX gained their 11th. This is going to be the most crucial round of NWJ's run. They lose this match point with bad economy following that, preceding that. This could be where it all goes down to.
Yeah, it's a must-win scenario now here for Scythe, but OGX is unrelenting. No surprise, the timeout is called because as of right now, they're always forced to respect the clear, courtesy of Emmy and Twirly. The lurk from Casper and the angles that she's able to patiently wait on have been getting so much value. And look at Aruma right now. What a stellar KD. 17-6. She's always alive and standing. In the rounds that OGX wins, there's always that reliable backline for Orangutan. So from front to back, everything is ticked with a check mark, and Scythe need to break that list as soon as possible.
Well, she's definitely having herself a positive turnaround here. Return on each buy that she's getting, each life is monumental. You know, funnily enough, she has the same amount of deaths as NWJ. I wouldn't be surprised if we check the numbers after the game and see that those 6 rounds that NWJ have won are the ones that they actually take Aruma down. So
yeah,
perhaps that could be the case, perhaps not, but she's definitely being an important part of this attack and defend while I go on. But they do have the Seekers now to maybe sniff out what plans OGX are coming up with, because they've been playing a lot of this half blind.
Yeah, congrats on the quick math there. But that's a good point you made. Blind. If you also notice on the stats before we start off this round, Emmy, double digits on the assists. The flashes with the curveball have gotten so much value all throughout. And of course, the damage that she does with the run it back as well. So just peppering Scythe as much as possible. Look for any kind of advantage. That's been freed here for OGX. Contesting now towards mid. Main also the angle.
Joke's
so
over.
split approach towards A. The run it back yet again. The old reliable that Orangutan can work with. Seekers there too to allow Emmy an easier time to clear these angles. There's the first courtesy of Emmy. The run it back now dissipates, but Twirly's on the inside. You realize this. as Skyly spotted this push. Twirly still there. Skyly's fighting towards dugout. She's gonna hear the spike plant despite the cosmic divide. Twirly now looking for the clear, going for the wall bangs, but in the end, Orangutan in control so far.
Difficult scenario now for NWJ. Now Scythe. Do they even realize that Twirly has positioned herself here towards the dugout? Skyly, I think she has an idea. She knows. She's gonna clear it out. She gets a kill on Twirly. Follow up from Marche. Things working out here for NWJ, but still, all is not done just yet. 3v2. It's gonna be difficult to get the spike off. Now it all stands in Yamori, who simply cannot stand tall enough. Casper and OGX, they take match point.
This is Orangutan X in full form. And whether on the defense or the attack, they know how to play Ace so very well. A single cosmic divide to keep Scythe guessing, a catch there towards the connector, and yet again, it's just a full checklist made and done by Orangutan. This is the form they brought in Open 1. This is why they made it to the top 3 again and again, and just stellar stuff we've seen for Orangutan. Forced by here from Scythe. The Spectres are the only saving grace now.
It's gonna be difficult. They got blades here in Yamori. 6 rounds of perfection is what we have to see from NWJ just to get back into the game, just to extend it in overtime. The most dire position to be in, the most difficult problem proposed. And now, against an opponent who has built up steam. How do you even stop him? Information here. The Viper falls. Presence being that player. Marche at least gets a trade, but they have to hold on to this back haul.
Yeah, how do you stop them as of right now? Orangutan X ready to pull up to the station and call it a day. Bladestorm out and about, and well, the Blades, they can't get through the wall. 1 HP here for Twirly.
No way.
It takes a while, but Marche will fall. Now the Blades from Yamori looking for a target. There's the trade yet again. 2v1 now. Orangutan X put themselves in a good position. It's Casper versus Oreo. The Astros clashing yet again. Big pick and a big win by Orangutan. They eliminate Scythe yet again. History continues to be on the side of Orangutan X. And they'll move on to face off against Haruki Kaguya tomorrow as well.
Wow, incredible stuff here from OGX, and you see exactly why they were able to make it to that grand final last time around. Down 1-0 in the series, and yet they bring things back and turn in their way. I mean, for a team here like Scythe, who we saw them go down lower round 1 the last time around. Let's not forget, it was Orangutan who sent them down to a lower bracket during Open 2. Now almost finally getting their revenge, but it just wasn't able to come. But I think, have to say that these gals have been super impressive in what they've achieved here so far.
Yeah, I think Scythe right now slowly bridging that gap. Perhaps they're gonna even be more prepared coming into Elite. But Orangutan X making that case yet again to go for that crown. What a matchup we'll get tomorrow, and what games we've had today. But of course, that's gonna be it for us here on the casting side. We'll throw it over to the panel to break down what just happened. Big congratulations there to Orangutan X with that win. Jenny, Zach, it's all you now.
Thank you, gentlemen. Scythe shoot their shot, but at the end of the day, it's not gonna be quite enough. They do end Open 3 in 5th to 6th place with that sweet spot secure for Elite. OGX, though, they do successfully complete that 2-peat after their 2-0 over Scythe in the Swiss qualifiers. But, you know, props to Scythe for keeping this one close. I'm back with Zach here on the desk, the prophet herself, predicting that OGX win. Zach, what are your thoughts?
I can't take full credit because I predicted a 2-0, but hey, I'll take whatever wins that they
Close
get.
enough.
It's close enough. It's just one map, you know. You gotta give it to them. But jokes apart, Scythe, they did play really well today, especially that map one. Of course, phenomenal gameplay coming out on Vine. And on Ascent, they had a pretty good start. So for a second, I genuinely thought there was a possibility of a 2-0 coming in. But that second half, Orangutan, they woke up. That brilliant timeout they took at 9-10 when they were 1 round behind. Really nice work. And of course, on Pearl, it was just a masterclass, for lack of a better phrase. If you look at that scoreboard, you have almost every single player on Orangutan's side firing on all cylinders. Look at Iruma's KDA, 20-7. She only went down 7 times in like 20 rounds. Absolutely nutty indeed.
That's crazy. I think it was like 19.6 also, so it looked a little bit better than
Just a bit.
what it looks like right now. But yeah, just everyone on the squad of OGX just absolutely stepping up huge. We saw Iruma just multiple times as well. Casper with that very last 1v1 versus Oreo at match point, also just absolute nerves of steel from these girls. And yeah, more stats. 10 first kills from the side of OGX. I believe they did also get that 10 first kills in one of their earlier maps as well. So definitely, just winning out on all of those first trades to really open up the rest of the rounds. Just very well done from the squad.
Yeah, they've won on all of these fronts as well. In particular, my eyes are on that post plan because NWJ, that was the biggest problem. Like a lot of those rounds in that first half, they just, even if they got that spike down, they were in a terrible position to defend it. They had like no control on Scythe. They tried to play from long, but they just didn't have the positioning. And Orangutan, they got a lot of rounds for free that they really had no business winning, just diffusing in front of the enemy. Of course, the MVP this time around, it's gonna be Emmy. We saw her impactful plays yesterday. We're gonna be seeing her on fire. Ahem, because Phoenix, get it? Again today. 330 ACS,
Nice.
18 kills. Really, really clean work coming out of her. Of course, we talked about that impact of that run it back ultimate for the Phoenix. Really easy to charge up on a map like Pearl if you can fight for that orb control, which Orangutan were doing a lot. And even apart from that, right, it's just 6 points. If you're going to be killing a couple of people every round like Emmy, you're going to have it every 3 rounds. So that's just so much space, and it's like an extra player on your team. It's even better than Timmy the Turret. But don't tell Timmy the Turret I said that.
Oh, I've seen your keyboard. You got a little Timmy the Turret representation over on your
Sorry, Timmy.
keycaps right now.
Sorry, Timmy.
He can hear it. It's fine. He can't hear you. He can't hear you. But man, Emmy, I mean, you were calling it out before the switch, right? About how the tower was about how the run it back was going to be absolutely crucial, orb control as well, and she just absolutely showed that. I think we do have a winner interview. We've got your peeps waiting in the wings. Your peeps, hi, can you hear us?
Jippy!
I cannot hear them.
Oh my god, hi!
Hello. I cannot hear you
Firstly,
guys.
of course, congratulate. Whoa.
yeah. No, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Just checking out the volume. Firstly, of course, congrats on today's win. Also, congrats on qualifying to Elite
you.
already. I wanted to ask, how do you feel right now?
Feeling good and happy. Like we have so much to go, and we have so much things to prove, especially on Elite.
Yeah, after that map number 1, right? Because you guys dropped that map 1. Was the team nervous at all? Can you tell us how the team was feeling, and also if you were nervous, how y'all turned your mentality around?
We always just reset every map and every round we lose. I think map 1 is also like a warm-up map for us, even me, because I cannot hit on map 1.
Oh, I have a question as well. So, you and Casper, you guys have been the backbone of this team since its inception. So, you've had a couple of roster shuffles in Open 2. How do you feel Emmy as well as Aruma are fitting in the new team comp, and how is it progressing? Because your performance today was so much better than Open 2.
Yeah, I think Emmy is like the key for the surprise factor in our roster. She's a good flex, especially on duelist also. She's really good on Phoenix. She tends to solo play in a good way. That's the best Phoenix things you can have. Yeah, she's a good player.
It's always nice to be able to count on your teammates. I wanted to ask also, so for OGX, right, Open 1, you girls ended in 2nd place. Open 2, you girls ended 3rd. How far are y'all aiming for Open number 3 this time around?
I think we always aim for top 1. Hopefully.
Well, that's the spirit. That's honestly that's what you should be aiming for, considering that
Yeah.
Emmy only has 1 slot for a championship. So always aiming for that first position is important. Now, for your next matchup, I believe you're going to be facing up against RRQ Kaguya. You were able to beat them in Open 1, but with this new roster so far, you haven't been able to really deal with them. What's your plan for that? Give us your secrets.
I don't know, but I think we just need to be more confident and trust each other. I always believe on my teammates.
Thank you so much. Any other questions, Jenny?
Oh my god. You've been telling us about like that winner's mentality and just like trusting each other. Who's the most like vocal? Who's the most like positive mindset on your team? Like no matter what happens, who's that? You whoa, nice. Do you have like a
You're talking
catchphrase?
to-
What do you usually say? Yeah?
One at a time. I always say one at a time. Because especially when we lose like the enemy so far, the match is not yet finished unless it's 13. That's it.
Wow. What? Well,
I need that for my ranked games, for real.
I know, right? One at a time. I'm gonna start typing that to all my solo queue teammates from now on. But Peeps, thank you so much for
Thank
the
you.
interview. Congrats on today's win. Congrats on making it through to Elite. And of course, best of luck for tomorrow. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you.
luck,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Thank you.
All these interviews always make me just like feel things inside. Like, oh my god, they're so cute, but they're also so deadly.
I know, right? Like, get you a girl who can do both, man. Like, I swear, every single interview, no matter who it is, no matter which team, the girls are always like, our goal is to be first. And I'm like, dang, girl, I wish all of you could be first. But I mean, they're
I know,
all
I feel
already
that.
winners in our hearts and in our eyes. But I mean, just, it's always great to, be able to talk to the winners of the teams. I think we are going to take a look at the schedule right here for tomorrow, day 4. If y'all have been watching, Game Changers APAC is always traditionally our most action-filled day. We've got 3 best of 3 matches for you guys. We're going to start the day off strong with, once again, the upper final rematch between Team SMG and Full Sense Sapphire. At this point, faded rivals. I don't know, man. It's exact same upper final from open number 2. You absolutely don't want to miss that. And then later on, we are going to have OGX facing off against RRQ, the winner of which will then play either SMG or Full Sense Sapphire, whichever didn't quite win earlier in the day. So it's gonna be a long day tomorrow, but we promise the matches are gonna be worth it.
Of course, we have our top 4 locked in: SMG, Full Sense, RRQ, and Orangutan. And of course, all 4 of these teams have qualified for Elite, but that placement, it's still up for grabs. And tomorrow's games, they're going to decide a big portion of how that's going to play out exactly. For example, if Full Sense does cause an upset tomorrow and wins this entire tournament, they might have a potential for that first seed because they've been so consistent throughout, or at least that second seed. They can lock in that second seed position. So lots of things up for seeding here for Elite. But more than that, it's just really, really intense. You talked about that rivalry aspect before. Full Sense Sapphire versus SMG. This is a matchup that we've been seeing again and again and again and again. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot in the future as well. So definitely one of the things that you've got to keep watching. But for RRQ versus Orangutan as well, this is a matchup that both these teams, they faced each other before in this exact same position. First time in Open 1, Orangutan, they came out on top to go to that grand final. This time around, will they be able to do it again? That's what's on my mind.
Yeah, and so many rivalries, right? I mean, we're talking RRQ versus Orangutan. If RRQ win that one and they get the rematch versus Full Sense Sapphire, that's going to be like the 6th time in 3 opens that these teams are going to face off against each other. But whew, I mean, that's a question for tomorrow. But of course, for today, thank you all so much for joining us for day number 3 of the VCT Game Changers APAC Series Open 3. From Zach Richu here on the desk and Dax Blue on the cast. Thanks for spending your Friday night with us watching some Valorant. If y'all want to catch more Game Changers APAC action and of course see how women in esports are changing the game, then we'll see you back here again tomorrow.